Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of December 28th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
You know, in my quest to always make sure that you are always tech ahead and never left tech behind, I want to make sure that you're in the know. So, survey says this past week, these are the emojis that you should not be using anymore because they are now extinct. And if you use these emojis, people are going to say, oh my gosh, that person is like so old, so out of it, not hip, definitely not groovy or have any risk. So, third one is the snake emoji. Yes, I guess because everybody's using it too much for those shady comments. The skull emoji, yeah, you don't want to use that one either. It's like I'm dead jokes are over. And at the top of the list is the angry face emoji. Okay, no one's really not wanting to know that you're that upset anymore. Fun fact for you, the first emoji was the heart emoji, and it was in Japan in 1999. See, that's something that you can use to impress your family members and friends. But what do you call the cow emoji? What do you call the cow emoji? Are you ready? And emoji. Oh, that one hurt even me. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls. You have tapped into America's largest show about all things digital. It's the award-winning, it's the best show. And of course, I'm America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. And you can find my show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And you can now get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. Love that. Just search for Komando with a K wherever you get your podcasts. And just a reminder that great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always want you to check out those money-saving deals over at komando.com/sponsors. And of course, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. T-Mobile's advanced 5G network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. And I'd like to thank NetSuite for helping to make this show possible. Over 40,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle. You know, it's the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all into one fluid platform. Now, NetSuite has added a range of new AI features to its product, and these updates are designed to help companies operate more efficiently. For example, the software can now automatically detect unusual activity in a company's financial data, allowing issues to be addressed quickly before they become bigger problems. It helps give you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're going to be peering into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you're spending less time looking backward and more time on what's next. NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. Download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning for free at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. You know, every single day I go to at least 35, 40 different sources to make sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech world and how it's going to affect all of us. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know about right now. And we're going to start with a warning from our government that should just frighten all of us. And it really hasn't made national news, and no one seems to be paying attention. You see, there's a part of the Department of Homeland Security. It's known as the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Well, wouldn't you like to be like, well, what are we going to call the new agency? Well, I got an idea. Let's call it the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Wow. Wow, what a bunch of words there, right? But do you remember this past September? That was when AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, they were simultaneously hit with a nationwide outage. Now, even though the government first denied it, okay, now turns out it was a cyber attack. Now, can you guess who was behind the attack? Anyone? Anyone? Yes, that's right. Communist China. Chinese hackers infiltrated all of America's telecommunications company to steal users' data. Our data. Only now is our government warning that both civilians and government officials to ditch regular phone calls and texts, and for very sensitive communications, use only end-to-end encrypted communications. What does this mean? Okay, the breach was successful and it's still going on. Moving on to number 2. A few months ago, my social media page was just filled with all these viral clips of actress Blake Lively being rude to reporters. And I was like, oh man, like she's just totally stuck up. I mean, the fame and fortune has gotten to her. Wow, this is incredible. The New York Times reports that these were no accidents. They were actually part of a smear campaign. Blake starred, of course, you know, and it ends with us, a $350 million blockbuster this past summer. It was a huge hit. Now, behind the scenes, it wasn't so good. In a lawsuit, Blake accuses director Justin Baldoni and producer Jamie Heath of unwanted touching, kissing, and barging into her trailer when she was topless. Okay, she reported to the studio, and then that's when things got worse. Court documents reveal the director spent $175,000 on a PR firm to destroy her reputation. Okay, texts show him texting a publicist for the firm saying he wanted to bury her. She's narcissistic. She's spoiled. Okay, it's called astroturfing. And I don't know if you're familiar with that term. These are like fake posts that you might see on Reddit or viral clips to paint her as difficult. You want it looks like real opinions, but they're not. Again, new term for you to know, astroturfing. Moving on to number 3, a porn star, Chloe Armour. I wonder if that's her real name. What's your name? Chloe Armour. Yes, sure. Anyway, she says her career is just so demanding. I don't know if I can do all this every single day. So she's taking the workload off of herself. She's selling her body to AI. So she now has an AI twin that she says fans can make her AI twin do anything she would want to do or they want her to do. And so Chloe provided a company with all kinds of photos, videos, personal details, and she sold it all for a fee. So now she sits back and makes money without doing anything. Now, if you think like, who's actually going to be giving her money? Listen to this. A top tech executive predicted that AI girlfriends will create $1 billion in business. Yes, some of these guys are spending $10,000 a month on AI girlfriends. Isn't that just a whole bunch of weird stuff? Anyway, moving on to number 4. Speaking of being overworked, how much are we using chatbots now every single day? A lot. Okay. Is your chatbot burned out? Well, one company, Anthropic, is taking this seriously. They hired a guy by the name of Kyle Fish. His job is to think about the well-being of AI. And he has some ideas. He says like AI systems could have moral interests like humans and animals. They could be empathetic. He predicts that within 10 to 20 years, AI welfare is going to surpass animal welfare and global health as a priority, purely based on its potential scale. Wow, isn't that something? Now we're worried about the AI as it's going to go out and kill us all. All right, coming in at number 5. If you've ever seen the aftermath of a hurricane, you know that's just devastating. Homes where family once gathered are all rubble, and you see all their personal effects just in a whole bunch of mud. And after Hurricane Helene tore through North Carolina, a woman by the name of Taylor Schnenker from Canton near Asheville stumbled upon lost treasures. While helping her friends sift through the ruins of her flooded home, Taylor began finding family photos, a middle school basketball team, a dog, a bride hugging someone on her wedding day. She found a photo of Michael Jordan dunking taken years ago by a local man's dad. So she's determined to reunite these memories with their owners. And that's why I wanted to pass along just a great story. She created an Instagram page called Photos from Helene, and the response has been incredible. Families are rediscovering old memories and photos, and she's returned about 15% of the images that she's collected so far, and she's continuing to add more. So again, in case you want to check it out, or maybe you live in that area, you know somebody from that area, it's on Instagram, and it's called Photos from Helene, and that's Helene. Hey, listener, you're just tired of dealing with annoying passwords. Every account needs a different one: uppercase, lowercase, symbols, 12 or more characters. Let me tell you, NordPass ends the madness for good, so you can forget juggling dozens or even hundreds of passwords. You see, NordPass remembers and auto-fills them for you. And that's it. You're just going to love this. So let's say you go to a site, and instead of you trying to remember your password, NordPass steps in like magic and just auto-fills all your passwords. You're going to love this. And when you're buying something, it automatically fills in your credit card, your billing, your shipping details too. You see, NordPass uses the strongest military-grade encryption and offers email masking, password sharing, and even a solution for businesses. Now, let me tell you, I negotiated a special deal for you. Go to nordpass.com/Kim, and you're going to get 58% off today. Once again, that's nordpass.com/Kim. You really need to check this out. It's like $1.23 a month. It's an incredible bargain. Once again, that's nordpass.com/Kim. All right, you need to hold on to your hats and put on your thinking caps, because let me tell you, we have so much to share. Well, first of all, I've got just the best callers in the history of talk radio. And then I've got more tips, tricks, and secrets that you can't afford to miss. And then, hey, you've got me, America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, so stay right where you are. All right, here's where you need to go. Winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. No purchase required, because I am going to be giving you, but you have to enter to win, of course, and win a $500 Amazon gift card. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about romance scams right now. I get calls about this all the time. Like some guy says, "Oh, Kim, I met the most beautiful woman online and she just loves me and she's from Russia and she wants to be my bride and I got to send her some money." Okay. You know, whenever anybody starts asking for money, then they're playing on your emotions, right? It's just a trap that really anybody can fall into. Debbie Montgomery Johnson, she's a prime example of how anybody can be targeted. Okay, let me tell you about Debbie. She's smart, okay? I mean, I looked at her credentials. She's an Air Force veteran. She's a former banker. Despite this, Debbie lost a lot of money, a lot of money. Hey, Debbie, thanks for being here. Take us through your journey of this scam.
Well, thanks, Kim, for having me. It's so important that the victim's voice is heard in this particular scenario. It happened to me in 2010 when my husband had passed away suddenly, and I was home. 4 kids, one at home, running his company, working my own job. And 6 months after he had died, my friends decided I needed to have a life, and they meant, I'd been married almost 26 years. So they said, "You need something other than work." And so they got me into dating, which was daunting in itself when I was 51, almost 52. And they said, "Try online dating, it's safe." And for me, that was the big word, safe.
So you set up an online profile and put up a few pictures, some fun facts about yourself. And then Mr. Right Now approached you, huh?
Well, I was on a faith-based site, so I thought, again, it was safe. That was my big word. He wasn't the first one. There were several other guys, but it was funny. You've seen the wife beater T-shirts?
Yes.
Without the sleeves. A lot of guys were showing up between 55 and 60 were showing up with those, or they were showing up hanging over motorcycles. And I wasn't terribly impressed. My late husband was a brilliant guy, and we were both Air Force officers for many, many years. And so I was looking for someone that was business savvy, that maybe had a company. That it turned out my guy was international. He had lost his wife, and he looked well. He wrote well.
All totaled, you lost, is this right? You lost $1 million?
I did, and it was over 2 years. It didn't happen all at one time. The one thing I want people to know is I didn't have $1 million, but over that 2-year period, he became family. He actually became family to me very quickly.
So this went on and it continued. I'm still trying to get to that $1 million mark, because that's just
$1 million. It actually, over the 2 years, it might have started at $45, then it was $2,500, then it would be $1,000 or a $10,000. It was increments, and yeah, it seemed like a lot of money. And from a former banker's point of view, I look back now, and I've heard the transaction tells the story. If anybody had ever watched my wire transactions over my 50-something years, except for buying real estate, I'd never done a wire transfer. That should have been a clue right off the bat. There was something going on here that someone should have alerted me to say, hey, Deb, you might want to step back. Because over the process, the criminals, the scammers, for lack of a better term, they try to isolate you from family and friends, which they do very well. And middle of the night, I only had one of my 4 children still at home. So I would be on the computer and I would, question him about something. And he always had a plausible answer to why something didn't really sound right to me. Or I sent a package to his son in England and it got returned. I sent a package to him in Hong Kong. It got returned. I'm like, why are these things happening? He always had an answer.
So what would you say to anybody who's listening right now who may find they're listening and they're thinking to themselves, Debbie, you know what? I'm in the same spot. Or I just met this guy or I met this gal, whoever it may be, and they're asking me for $50, $100. They need airfare to come see me. They're sick. Their son's sick. Their daughter needs to get to a new school or whatever that sob story is. What do you say to them? How do you shake them out of it? Because I'll tell you, I have gotten the calls here on the show and where I have said to one guy gave $400,000 to some woman. And I walked him through the whole scenario and I said, are you still going to talk to her? And he said, yes. Even though he thought it could kind of almost be a scam, which it was.
But you're not thinking that it's a scam. At that point, the manipulation is so intricate and there's a process. It's called the amygdala hijack. And there's the brain functions funny. We don't know what's going through the brain. And I used to say my heart ruled my head. Well, my head actually took over and your fight or flight. And you want to believe, those of us of a certain age, but actually it's any age group now, we want to trust people. And you don't look for the bad. Criminal thinking is different than our thinking. And you can't convince somebody that they're in a scam. You just can't, no matter what someone would say to you. I work with a lot of victims now, a lot of survivors through an organization called SCARS. And if you don't get to somebody within 2 weeks of them being contacted, it's very difficult to get them out of it until they're broken. And that's a tough place. I have women writing to me saying, I wish I'd heard your story before. And I can't do it alone. We have to work together to stop the victim blame, because the victim, the only thing they did wrong was say hello to a stranger.
Yeah.
We all can be taken. And we're seeing that. I saw in the news this morning about a woman who was taken in what used to be the grandparent scam, but it was an AI generated scam where a woman got a phone call and it was her son.
Those are popping up all over. I mean, they are. And it's a kid. It's pretending to be a child and a kidnapping and their AI deep fake videos and photos and voices. I mean, it's
horrendous.
It's like it just keeps getting worse and worse, and it's escalating and escalating and escalating. And unfortunately, like you mentioned, we can't get these organized crime, and it is organized crime because they're outside the United States. Well, now you're out telling your story, and you're going to help a whole bunch of folks doing that. Debbie, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. Hey, listen, they're just tired of dealing with annoying passwords. Every account needs a different one. Uppercase, lowercase, symbols, 12 or more characters. Enough already. NordPass ends the madness for good, so you can forget juggling dozens or even hundreds of passwords. NordPass remembers and autofills them for you. That's it. You're going to love this. You go to a site, and instead of you trying to remember your password, NordPass steps in like magic and autofills all your passwords. And when you're buying something, it autofills your credit card, billing, shipping details too. Now, NordPass uses the strongest military-grade encryption and offers email masking, password sharing, and even a solution for businesses. Now, I negotiated a special deal for you. Go to nordpass.com/Kim for 58% off today. That's nordpass.com/Kim, nordpass.com/Kim. All right, still to come, we have news about Google, and we also have a security check to tell you about, and then AI taking over our lives in 20 years. What's that about? It's pretty frightening, but I'm going to tell you more about it. And of course, we have more of your phone calls that you never, ever want to miss here on The Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager. You can find the right people for your team faster and for free. Here's what you need to do. Post your job for free right now at LinkedIn.com/Kim. That's LinkedIn.com/Kim. Let me tell you, it's a fabulous site to find people for your workplace. LinkedIn.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. All right, before we go back to all of your phone calls, as well as our security tip of the week and that news about AI, I have to give you a big warning about Google, because if you haven't used your Google accounts for a while, you really need to log in. Just do it right now, because otherwise Google's going to start wiping things out. So, and everything when they do is going to be gone. I'm talking about your Gmail, Google Drive, your Docs, your pictures, YouTube selections, whatever it may be, you name it. So here's what you need to do. Just log into your Google account. Okay, that's all it is. Just log it in. And maybe send yourself an email or something like that, so that this way you tell Google, I use this account, do not remove it. Do not remove it. So again, if you haven't logged into your Google account, just go ahead, do it now while you're thinking about it, because I don't want you to lose all your important stuff. All right, Fred in Des Moines, Iowa. Welcome to the show today, Fred.
A few months ago, I was listening to the Kim Komando show, and they were talking about an app that you could put on your phone, and if and it didn't really have to be a loved one, but I was wanting to use it for my wife was battling cancer, and after she'd passed, I would like to, maybe be able to talk to her, and they were talking about that, and I've heard that there's even some that you can do video files with too, but anyhow, and she passed, and before she passed, I'd asked her if she had ever done that or put that on her phone. She said, yeah, she had, but she couldn't make it work, so she took it off. And we've got a lot of video messages or messages and stuff from her, and I thought it'd be nice to, talk to her sometime.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss after 40 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time. That's truly your other half.
Yeah, exactly.
That isn't there. The person that I was talking to was from a company called Storyfile.
Okay. Yeah.
And Storyfile is out there, and what they do primarily is with video interviews. And they'll do, 5 hours or 8 hours with somebody, and then create a video persona and also capture their tones and their voices and things like that. As example, they interviewed actor Ed Eisner for 8 weeks before he died in 2021. And then they sent Ed Eisner's story file to his son, Matt, who says it was like his dad talking right at him, answering his questions. And Matt, the son, said he played the file to the father's memorial service, and some people were really deeply touched, and others said, ooh, this is kind of creepy, makes me feel uncomfortable. Now, it depends upon how you look at it, right? And also where your stage is at that moment of grief.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Because 4.5-year battle of cancer, you guys talked about this, right?
Sure.
There were highs and there were really lows, right?
Yep.
There were moments of hope and moments of despair.
Yes, certainly.
And so you may be grieving at a different spot than somebody, because I know somebody's going to be listening like, oh, how could they do that? Why would anybody want to do that? Okay. But you're maybe at a different spot, because I not that that it is anywhere near the same thing that you're going through right now with Fred. But
Right,
but
right. Yep.
I was with my mother with her pancreatic cancer battle almost 5 years. I mean,
Yep.
I was there when they said she's got 3 months to live. What's on her bucket list? She's got stage
Yes.
4 cancer, you know?
Yep.
And there were times where it was like, oh my gosh. And she'd look at me and she'd say, how long do you want me to live? And I'd say, forever, forever.
Yeah,
she's
exactly. Exactly.
she's like, no, that's not possible, Kim. You know, so we had those tough conversations. Okay.
Yep.
So with Storyfile, that's the company that I was talking to. It may not be possible for them to do this because they have questions that they ask and responses are saved. And there's a free trial that has 33 questions, and then there are fees along the way. There is something else that you might want to look at. It's Hereafter AI. Hereafter AI. That's where you can submit various auto recordings and photos.
Yes.
And then there's also something called YOV. And that may be something that you might want to look at too. But, you know, you might want to just reach out to Storyfile, see if they have maybe something that may be working with everything that you have of your wife. But again, that's Storyfile Life, Hereafter AI, and then YOV. Now, Fred, if you do any of these, would you call me back?
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
let me know how it works here. Cause as I've been looking at this and I've been thinking about this, I mean, I think my grief is too fresh in my heart.
Yeah.
Because I can't even look at pictures sometimes, Fred. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because I'll just break down. I mean, yesterday was my father's birthday. My father passed away unexpectedly, 30 years ago. And I was like, I was just sitting there like a baby. And like it just happened, so, but grief comes in, it's a wave, right?
Yeah.
You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. But if you need any information about this, as a matter of fact, I have a link that Fred, hang on the line. Amber's going to give you that link right now to a story I wrote about this over on commando.com about AI immortality. In case you want to try it out for yourself. I mean, is it going to be 100% the person? No, it's not. It's not. May it help you deal with the pain? Yeah, it may. Maybe it's going to cause more pain. Maybe you're ready to take that and to do. Maybe you're ready to take yourself to that level. Maybe you're not. And grief is universal, but it's always so personal. And I'm always reminded when I talk about grief about that verse in the Bible that says, you walk through the shadow, the valley of death. You walk through that. Okay. You don't go to the left. You don't go to the right. You have to go through it in order to get to the other side. Again, if you want more information about this, we have links over at commando.com. And Fred, if I can help you more, I'm here for you. All right, let's do our privacy and security tip of the week right now. And this week is brought to us by Total AV. Scammers have so many clever methods to fool you. Here's one that you need to be aware of. Ads at the top of the Google search results that lead you to those nasty malware-infested websites. That's why preventative measures make a world of difference. Your best defense, Total AV's industry-leading security suite. Easy to use, offers the best protection in the business. Not only do you get continuous protection from viruses, but their AI-driven Web Shield service blocks dangerous websites automatically. This way you don't have to worry about unknowingly downloading malware when clicking on an ad or some other link out there. And this protection covers up to 5 devices all under a single plan. So whether you're on a Windows, Mac, iOS, or Android device, just install the easy-to-use app. That's it. You're protected. Right now, you can get the first year of Total AV for only $19, but you have to go to the special address, protectwithkim.com. That's over 85% off the regular price. Head to protectwithkim.com today. That's protectwithkim.com. All right. I don't know when the last time that you actually said, where am I logged into everywhere on my Google account? All right. If you haven't done that for a while, here's a shortcut. I want you to go to google.com/devices. That's google.com/devices. Now, Here you're going to see a list of all the devices, computers, smartphones, tablets that you're signed into or you have been signed into, say, for the last 28 days. Now you can click each one to see which browser was used. Might be a tip-off that somebody else is inside your account. Now, don't panic if you see the same device multiple times because each session is recorded. So what you want to do again is go to google.com/devices, google.com/devices. All right, we have more of your phone calls that you definitely don't want to miss. And then later on, the survey says that there's a 50% chance that artificial intelligence is going to beat humans at all tasks. Wow, that's really something. 50% AI, robot, whatever it's going to be, is going to be able to do everything better than us in 20 years. I'll tell you more about that, as well as we have more of your phone calls you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, let me tell you, we are not getting any younger, sorry to say, but you can bring back your natural radiance with Native Path Collagen. It's scientifically backed to increase bone mineral density, support tissue recovery, reduce wrinkles, enhance hair thickness, and strengthen weak or damaged nails. Now, here's the deal. You can get 45% off and free shipping right now by going to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim. Stephen in Fairfax, Virginia. Hi there, Stephen.
Hey, Kim. How are you doing today?
Great. What's going on?
Good. I was just wondering, I keep seeing all these ads for these hidden camera detectors. And I'm wondering, one, are you familiar with them? Do they actually work? And is there that much of a need for one? I have a daughter who travels and stays in hotels, and my wife as well.
Yeah. It's a big concern, isn't it? I mean, especially when you start looking at any type like a Vrbo or Airbnb. Because I will tell you that years ago, I checked into an Airbnb and there were 12 cameras. I was like, what is this going on?
No way.
Yeah. And most recently, one of the gals that works here, Maddie, she's fabulous. And she and her boyfriend checked into I think it was an Airbnb in Laurel Canyon outside of Los Angeles. And she said she just got kind of like this creepy feeling when she walked into the primary bedroom and she looked up and then there were 2 smoke detectors. And of course, one of the smoke detectors, as you can tell we're talking about it, was a hidden camera. It's like, oh, nice, crazy stuff. So you do have to be careful. There's always the thing of, you want to shine a light and see if you find any reflections. But the problem with that is that now we can have hidden cameras in just about anything, right? I mean, we're not just talking about a book or a teddy bear. There could be a hidden camera in a remote control that's sitting on a table or in a smoke detector or even in a power outlet. I mean, it's just, so they really, because the technology has advanced so much, is that we have hidden cameras in just about anything nowadays. So the whole idea behind the hidden camera detectors is that it's going to be listening in for any type of RF signals, any type of transmissions, and any type of maybe an audio bug. And now there are tons for sale on Amazon, but the question is, which is the best one, right? Which one really works? That's where you want to look at something like there's the 4-in-1 hidden camera detectors. And so it has camera lens finders and camera detectors to spot like hidden pinhole cameras. You'd also maybe will start working with a flashlight too, or magnetic field detection. So you can find any type of GPS trackers. And this is a real problem, not just in hotel rooms, but also if a lot of women and men for that matter, they leave relationships and now they're finding that there's air tags or tile trackers or worse all around them. And so over on the website is that we have links to the hidden camera detectors that we recommend.
Great.
And one's called the SDL hidden camera detector. But I'm going to put you on hold, Stephen. And Amber, who's screening the calls today, she's going to give you a direct link to that. And for everybody else, make sure that you sign up for our free Komando newsletters. If you haven't already gotten those, head over to getkim.com. And we're going to do a whole special on how to find hidden cameras. And that's where we're going to be talking about these hidden camera detectors. So it's going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't already signed up for our newsletters, make sure that you do that now over at getkim.com. Or you can just search komando.com for our current recommendations. But again, we're going to go into a lot more detail in our free newsletter. So make sure you sign up now over at getkim.com. And Stephen, thank you for your call today. Okay, George in Ann Arbor, Michigan, you're up next.
before the holidays, I was looking for Christmas ideas, and I come upon smartwatches that supposedly will check your blood sugar levels
Right.
for you. And I curious, because they were not names I recognized, I was curious as to whether any of them were any good, whether they were worth the money or not.
Well, here's the deal: is that you have smart watches, you have fitness watches. These watches do not measure the glucose directly. What they do is they are linked to what's called the CGMs, the continuous glucose monitors. And so if you have a Samsung, a Fitbit, a Garmin, Apple, as well as there are all these other names, like you said, you don't even recognize, is that they actually will read the data from the CGMs. Now, there is an exception. It's from a Chinese company called Huawei. And I'm not quite sure how they do it, but I was reading about it recently that they do have a smartwatch that will monitor your glucose levels without being linked to these CGMs. Now, the problem with the Huawei is that you can't buy it here in the United States. It's just the way that it is. It's only available in China. It's a non-invasive blood glucose monitoring. Now, you may be familiar with Huawei because those are the phones and all the gadgets that people in the U.S. government are not allowed to even touch or look at because everything that you do gets back to China. But I would expect that this Huawei Watch 4 Pro, as this technology is there, we're going to see more of this coming into the United States directly. But, unlike places like China, they don't have the Food and Drug Administration where you have to go through a lot of hoops and whistles in order to get your product approved if it's going to be making certain claims, which rightfully so it should. But I would imagine the likes of, say, Apple and Samsung and Fitbit and Garmin, I'm sure they're working on blood glucose levels. After all, if we look at what a watch does, it has so many wonderful things. It has an optical heart rate sensor, it does temperature sensors, it does ECGs, oxygen levels, stress, skin temperature, breathing, whatever it may be. And we haven't yet kind of broken that barrier, as well as blood pressure is also one that's going to be big coming out. So, we're going to keep our watch on this, no pun intended. And if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our free newsletters, because that's always where I go through a lot of new products that are coming out and new products that are just on the cusp of being here or recently announced. And so if you don't already get our free newsletters, make sure that you sign up now while you're thinking about it. Head over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And George, thank you for your call today. The thing about wearable tech, it's always getting better. It seems like every single month that goes by. All right, I ran across this really frightening survey. I'm going to tell you more about it. It says that there's a 50% chance of AI, artificial intelligence, beating humans at everything that we do. Whoa, what is that about? Well, stay right where you are, because I want to tell you here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, there's no doubt that the pace at which artificial intelligence is moving is just super quick. It's so fast that you can expect it to take over all human jobs, not in 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. But get this, an Oxford study of almost 3,000 AI experts reveals that at the pace we're going right now, going to be in about 20 years. Wow. Okay, those are the world's top artificial intelligence professionals and researchers and experts. Okay, so can it write a Pulitzer Prize bestseller? Yup. Translate a new language? Yup. Completely code anything? Yes. Solve medical problems? Yes. Create cures? Yes. Create weapons? Yes. Create wars? Yes. Very frightening. The CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, told Axios ChatGPT will have to evolve in uncomfortable ways. Oh my gosh. What does that mean, uncomfortable? So it is a big deal if we all make it there. Sweet dreams. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. And don't forget, you can find me 24/7 at komando.com.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
I always like to start with something super interesting. And when I read this story in the Wall Street Journal, I was like, I have to tell you guys and gals about it. I mean, how come we don't have a new James Bond movie? What's going on? Well, as it turns out, there's a stalemate between the Broccoli family. They hold all the creative control over the James Bond franchise. And Amazon, because they own all the rights to release the films when they paid, I don't know, $6.5 billion for MGM. Now, it turns out the Broccoli's don't trust Amazon because they say they're only driven by algorithm. They have no idea about creativity, and they don't have a gut and a soul. Well, you can't really blame them, really. I mean, just look at what Amazon did to Lord of the Rings, which reminds me, yes, that means there's a bad pun coming. Ready for this one? You know what James Bond's favorite pasta is? Ready? Mini Penny. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's America's largest show, award-winning show, just the best dang show about all things digital. I'm, of course, America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. And as always, you can find my award-winning show all across the United States on over 420 stations. And I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And yes, you can get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. So in case you ever miss something, you want to take me on a walk, super duper, just search for Komando with a K wherever you get your podcasts. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. You know, T-Mobile's advanced 5G network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. And I'd like to thank Incogni for helping to make this show possible. You know, anybody can buy your personal info online. I'm talking about ad companies, stalkers, scammers, thieves, even the government and insurance companies. That's why when I wanted to remove my personal info from data brokers and people's search sites, I did my homework. I tried a few companies, and I was so impressed with Incogni. My personal data has been removed from over 700 data broker and people search sites. And get this, they're working on more. And my name is on about 50 suppression lists, meaning they cannot add my personal information back ever. So do what I did. Take control of your personal information, reduce the risk of spam, scams, and identity theft. And during the holidays, when there's so much to do and we're just moving so quickly, it's easy to make a mistake and just hand over your personal data without even realizing it. That's why it's important to visit privacykim.com. Once again, you want to go to privacykim.com right now, and you get 60% off. That's privacykim.com. You know, every single day, rain or shine, holiday or not, weekday, weekend, I am out on the internet talking to industry insiders to make sure that I know what's going on in the tech world so I can impart all of this knowledge to you. And here are the top 5 things that you need to be aware of right now. And we're going to start with the billionaires. I don't know if you know this, but so many of them are building bunkers. Like Mark Zuckerberg, he's building a $100 million, so far as what he says, hidden compound on his Hawaiian Island ranch. It's in Kauai. Last year, it's a 5,000 square foot property. And he told the media this past week that it's just like a little shelter for hurricanes and stuff. Okay, what? 5,000 square feet under the ground in concrete. Wow, isn't that something? He's not the only one. Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. He says that he and PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel, they have what they call an arrangement in case the world is ending. They're going to fly to one of Thiel's properties in New Zealand, and they're going to hang out there. And so what exactly are they worried about? Okay, let's make a list. Wars, pollution, asteroids, climate, famine, an AI takeover with robots, aliens. Maybe it's just all the above. Moving on to number 2, Barry and I were driving to a Christmas party the other day, and just out of the blue, he says, you know, it's such a shame that Encyclopedia Britannica did not become Wikipedia, and they just failed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Britannica did not become Wikipedia. They actually are in a much better place. This billion-dollar company isn't about old books anymore. They run the website, of course, Britannica.com, Merriam-Webster. But what you might not know is that Britannica also creates educational software that's used in schools all around the world. Their websites get like 7 billion page views a year. And of course, they're into artificial intelligence. And they actually started doing this back in the year 2012. And so they're using AI for fact checking, translation. They have tutoring apps, chatbots. And this Britannica, yes, Encyclopedia Britannica is about to go public with a potential $1 billion valuation. So if anybody ever says to you like, hey, too bad Britannica is just like, I don't know, didn't see what was going on, they actually did. Moving on to number 3, this is bad news, but if you have kids on social media, you need to be aware of this, that platforms like Instagram, Snap, and Telegram, they are now hubs for drug dealers. And the dealers use secret emojis. So snowflakes and snowmen are cocaine, love hearts, lightning bolts, pill capsules, signal for Molly, brown hearts and dragons, that's heroin. Studies show 60% of teens have stumbled across drug-related content on social media. 10% admit that they've actually purchased drugs this way. Are they doing anything to crack down on this? I don't think so. I mean, last year they say that Instagram and Facebook removed 9 million posts connected to drugs. Okay, I went on Facebook and I searched for drugs and I could find them within like 3 minutes. So you need to talk about your kids. You need to talk to your kids about what's going on with social media and drugs. Moving on to number 4. If you got these Ray-Ban Meta glasses for Christmas, guess what? They are already out of date. Rumor has it that they are coming out with new ones that are more like a high-tech camera and speaker combo, so you can snap photos, record videos, take calls, play music, all hands-free. But what's coming are big changes in the display. See, they're working on a new version with built-in displays so you can see notifications, messages, or even maps just right in front of you. And also changing Apple AirPods. This is the sleeper product for Apple. I don't know if you know this, but it generates like the third revenue source, the biggest revenue source for Apple are the AirPods. Of course, now you can use them as hearing aids. Coming soon, the newest versions are going to be monitoring your heart rate. Yeah, isn't that something? And finally, this coming in at number 5, if you're one of those parents that hand your kids a tablet when they're being naughty at a restaurant, or you're just like, okay, just watch something or play something while we talk and eat, you are fueling bad behavior. A new study from the scientific journal JAMA Pediatrics found that toddlers who got tablet time to deal with a tantrum had more anger outbursts a year later. Even more disturbing, as the time went on, the parents had to keep the screen time up in order to keep them calm. The stuff is addictive at any age. And so start with their gaming consoles, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. What you want to do is dive into those parental controls and set time limits. And if your kid's pretty young, I'd say, I don't know, half hour, an hour a day at most. And you can also create a plan for all screen time, including tablet, TVs, and computers. And don't forget, over at Commando.com, we have the free contract for kids. It's a tech contract, and you ought to take a look at it, no matter what age your child is. But the whole idea is that you can set some boundaries, and by using a contract, you can have them sign it if they're old enough, and then put it on the refrigerator. Again, you can find that for free at Commando.com/contract, Commando.com/contract. All right, we're not getting any younger. That's why you need to add collagen to your diet. It's just a powerhouse, packed with protein and scientifically proven to help with bone health, tissue recovery, and even smooths wrinkles, thickens hair, and strengthens weak or damaged nails. You see, as we age, our collagen levels drop, and that's where Native Path comes in. Their collagen formula is designed for quick absorption, making a difference you can feel and see. Plus, it's as pure as it gets. You just have one single ingredient and no GMOs, no fillers, no gluten, no dairy, or any of that extra stuff. And you can forget trying to take those horse-sized pills. Yuck. You see, with Native Path, it's just easy to add it to your routine. You just mix it into coffee, smoothies, oatmeal, whatever you like. I just mix it in water. And no clumps, no funky taste. Now, right now, as a Kim Komando Show listener, you get 45% off with free shipping. But here's what you need to do. Go to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim. Getnativepath.com/Kim. you're going to get 45% off and free shipping at getnativepath.com/Kim. Alrighty then, coming up, of course, we just have all kinds of great callers from that, well, all kinds of questions. It's just amazing. Love to take that. And then we have a whole bunch of tips, tricks, and secrets that you just can't afford to miss. And of course, you have some more bad jokes from me. I know, even they pain me sometime when I say them. You're on the Kim Komando Show. Alrighty then, are you tired of dealing with annoying passwords? NordPass ends the madness for good. You can forget juggling dozens or even hundreds of passwords. NordPass remembers and autofills them for you. It's only $1.23 a month. I mean, seriously, your sanity is so worth it. That's nordpass.com/Kim, $1.23 per month. Exclusive for Kim Komando listeners, nordpass.com/Kim. So where is the best place for you to store your data? I know, I see you. Yes, the cloud, the cloud. Well, let me tell you something. The cloud is one way, but the ultimate backup is literally out of this world. How about the moon? That's right, the moon. Today joining us, we have Chris Stott. He's the CEO of a Florida-based startup called Lone Star. Now, the reason why this is so interesting to me is, yes, they are actually putting data on the moon. NASA and Lone Star are about ready to place these backup servers on the moon. So, Chris, thanks for being here. And let's start at the beginning. Why build a data center on the moon?
Oh, well, thank you, Kim. Thank you for having us. And we think it's the best place to do this. Think of all the data we create on Earth every day. Well, 2.5 quintillion bytes of new data every day.
Wow.
That's an exabyte a day, more than yesterday. That's 1,000 petabytes, or another way to think about it, that's a million brand new MacBook Pros full of data every 24 hours. And we store it down here where everything happens. And the idea is that maybe if we store it elsewhere, we store it up there, it's safer.
So why is the moon good for this?
Well, the nice thing is it's our natural satellite, Earth's largest satellite. It's close enough yet far enough away to use. It is a beautiful, stable platform. It's in orbit around the Earth. One side of the moon always faces the Earth, hence the near side, far side, dark side. And it's got natural cooling, free solar energy, and it's incredibly stable. And for radiation, it's a fantastic shield on one half. And then again, as you're looking at the Earth, you see every single country once every 24 hours.
So how do you get the data up there?
Yeah, we're lucky. We're working with some incredible providers who are part of the NASA CLPS program, Commercial Lunar Payload Services. We're working, which is part of Artemis, the sister of Apollo, to return to the moon. And we're working with a company called Intuitive Machines out of Houston, Texas, an incredible group of professionals who are building these lunar landers. And they're flying on, or launching on with SpaceX on a Falcon 9. And our first mission heads up in the middle of February. We're just waiting on final dates as we speak.
And what kind of data is going to be on board?
No, yeah, thanks. I mean, so it's interesting. So it's all very heavily regulated and everything else. And we're looking at these first tests of non-regulated data. State of Florida, very, very avant-garde, leveraging 60 years of sunk investment in space here in Florida, is our first customer. They're taking some state data up there, actually a map of the national parks and state parks and more. But the data we're taking up on these missions eventually is everything that we use down here day to day. But the data that we're taking up at first is some stored data on this first mission, and then we're sending some very unique documents, transmitting them in flight to and from the lander as it goes to the moon, as it orbits around the moon, and after it lands on the moon too. There's some pretty cool documents we're going to be sending there about, like refresh and restore on a time machine on an Apple Mac.
Who do you have to get permission from to use the moon as storage?
Oh, absolutely. No, the hardest thing about getting to space, Kim, is getting permission. These days, the rockets are the easy part. Oh, I hope I don't get struck by lightning for saying that. But rockets are the easy part. No, space is the most regulated of all of human activities. And so when you're putting anything into space, you have to be licensed in terms of the spectrum you use. Your listeners on radio as well, we'll get this. It's like having a radio station license to talk to things in space, and also then permission to launch and operate. There's a treaty called the 1967 Outer Space Treaty with the United Nations. It's like an incredible capsule. Great read, actually. It's fascinating about astronaut rescue and liability and registration and what you can or cannot do on the moon. And Neil Armstrong purposefully triggered the treaty when he landed on the moon. You remember his first words? It's so cool. I love this because I'm a space law guy, and it's just a history buff thing too. He said, "Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed." So he actually declared a base under a clause in the treaties on how to do this. And so when you land on the moon, no one owns the moon. No one owns any celestial body. You can't own Mars, you can't own Venus, you can't own the moon. Because technically the Soviets were the first to land on the moon. We were the first to put people on the moon, right? Little subtle difference there. So the idea was you couldn't, in the middle of the Cold War, say the moon was yours. Could you imagine walking outside in the 60s, looking up and seeing communists on the moon? I mean, right? It was terrible. I mean, we kind of have that today. China is doing so many things on the moon. Even as you and I talk, they're active on the moon. But the idea being that when you land on the moon, it's not sovereign. But when you go, you're licensed. And they want to make sure you're using a proper rocket, proper lander, how are you disposing of things, what kind of materials, fuel you're using, all of these things, right? You go there, and as you land, it's like landing, say, an American lander. It's like landing Washington, D.C. on the moon. That is under American jurisdiction, supervision, continuing regulation. And yet, say, a Japanese rover on board. Well, that's like a Japanese embassy on board. It's under Japanese control and control and liability and all these things under the treaties. It's fascinating how it works, but it works. And that's the important part. Oh, no, you can't just casually go to the moon or anywhere in space.
Right.
Yes, like James Bond villain stuff, not that we have billionaires with private islands and rocket ships, but yes.
So are these data centers on the moon, are they going to be doing any type of experiments?
Yes, we're going to be doing, so these first two test flights, the first one, like I said, is just going to be transmitting documents and flights from digital storage. And the fun thing is the first document we're transmitting, I'm a proud American citizen, despite my funny accent. Old-fashioned type, I swam here. My arms are still tired, right? And so the first one we're sending, we thought we have to do something significant. We have to do something that is meaningful. This is the first document purposefully transmitted off planet for storage. And so we're sending the Declaration of Independence with full permissions and everything. And then the first documents we're pulling back are the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We thought that was the most appropriate thing to do. What's the first document ever stored on the moon? Well, that would be the Declaration of Independence. Always awesome.
I have to tell you, when you just said that, I got chicken skin.
Thank you.
I think this is so fabulous, Chris, what you're doing. I'm so excited to hear more about the launch when it actually happens. And, it's when I read about the moon being used as a backup, at first I was like, come on, and then I dug a little deeper, and I really think it's a wonderful experiment, wonderful thing that you're doing. And thanks for being here and sharing your story, and do keep us posted on the progress, please.
Oh, Kim, thank you. I shall do. And please come see our Mission Control here in Tampa, St. Pete, and maybe come out to one of the launches sometime.
I'd love to do that. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. I never thought I'd be talking about saving data on the moon. Never, ever, ever.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
All right, cable and phone companies, along with ISPs, don't want you to know there's a secret way that you can save big money on your monthly bills. I want you to put your service on hold for 30 days or more. It's called vacation hold, or sometimes it's called seasonal hold. And this is when your provider is going to pause your phone, your internet, or your TV when you're not at that location. You don't need to return any equipment, change a thing. You get to keep that email address. You get to keep that phone number when the service is on hold too. There are no reactivation fees too. So this is a great option if you're a snowbird, if you have a second home, extended hospital stays, if you're traveling for a month or more. What you want to do is, again, just call your provider and ask for a vacation hold or seasonal hold. Sometimes they charge like $5 or $10, but it's definitely worth it. All right, still coming up, streaming is getting so expensive, and I've got 7 ways how you can save big money. Plus, we have more of your phone calls, and you have more of me you don't want to miss. Here on The Kim Komando Show. Have you looked at your streaming bills lately? Oh my gosh, I have. So expensive, so very expensive. I've got 7 smart ways that you can save. You're not going to want to miss that. And also later on, have you ever wondered what happens to USPS and Amazon packages that just can't get delivered? What happens to them? Well, you can maybe buy them. And I've got the lowdown on that. And before we get back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about your iPhone. Your iPhone is really a professional camera. I mean, you might be sitting there, well, why do sometimes my videos just come out blurry? Well, you use the wrong settings, silly. There's a simple reason why your iPhone footage isn't crisp like you see in commercials and movies. The reason is that high quality video requires a lot of data. And it's super difficult to send over, say, a text, an email, or even just to upload wirelessly. So Apple automatically makes your videos a lower quality format. But if you want to be a film pro, you have to use higher quality settings. So with an iPhone 13 and higher, what you're going to want to do is head into your iOS settings. Under the settings, I want you to tap camera and then formats. And that's where you're going to find Apple ProRes. Again, that's Apple ProRes. Just switch that baby on. Then once you want to shoot a video, you have to manually turn it on each and every time. I know it's kind of a hassle. Again, just tap that ProRes button, and that's where how you upgrade your phone's video settings automatically and on the fly. All right, let's see. Judy in San Antonio, Texas. Glad to have you with us.
Well, my husband and I are snowbirds, and we're originally from Montana. We're down in Texas, and we're working on a ranch. It's work camping. And the owners sold the ranch, and there are new owners, but we're still working on the ranch.
Okay.
But the new owners want to pay us with something called Stripe. And I'm not familiar with that. I was just wondering if you know anything about it, and is it secure?
So they want to pay you via Stripe?
Right. Yeah. And so they created an account for the ranch and then send us an invitation or something, I think, and then we get on there and then it automatically will deposit. It's like an automatic deposit, or
it
maybe
is.
like Venmo or something.
Well, it's the reason why I'm questioning Stripe is more of a, I have something to sell, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember like years ago we'd have bank merchant fees, and in order for you to take a credit card, is that you had to say like put $20,000 in an account or whatever. But Stripe allows small businesses, large businesses to accept payments via credit card. Okay, Venmo is more of a person-to-person payment system. So the only reason why I'm wondering why they're using Stripe versus Venmo is, which I guess maybe Stripe is now in the PayPal business. I haven't checked it out that far, but maybe they are. But it is reputable. It's been around for a long time. Like I said, they take credit cards, debit cards, ACH payments, and all these other, but it's primarily for you to get paid, not for you to pay somebody else. But that said, it can go both ways, I'm sure. I would just have some questions.
Okay.
Is that Stripe will charge transaction fees? Who gets, I just want to make sure that if you're getting paid $100, that for every 100, you are actually getting $100. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also, when do you get your money? And are they going to hold it back for 24 hours, or do you get it that same day?
Okay.
And, of course, wire transfer is always the best, from bank to bank. But if they don't want to do that, maybe, I don't know who the new owners are or why they're using Stripe, but I would Stripe is legit. Don't get me wrong. I just want to make sure that if you are getting paid $100, that they're not taking out any transaction fees, because Stripe will charge a transaction fee. And also, when do you get your money? Those would be my two big questions. And if there are any transaction fees or delays in you getting your money, then I would request a wire transfer. You could always do a check and take it down to the bank. Old school way, I know. Or Venmo or Zelle or something like that is always a good way to go too. Judy, thank you for your call today. All right, let's see. In Indianapolis, Indiana, Milo, you're next.
I am calling because I have an ongoing frustration. I have a small business. We have a website. It's a simple website. We don't even do online sales. But a couple years ago, it got hacked. And for 2 days, it pretended like it was a bank. And we discovered it, and we recovered our site and cleaned it all up. But immediately, it was marked down as a malware or a bad site.
Mm-hmm.
And we have tried to go to popular antivirus sites and say, hey, we're cleaned up. And everyone's different, and you fill out their forms, and it just goes into the ether. And years later, like I just got Total AV, somebody's newsletter I know, it suggested it. But again, it says my website's a dangerous site. And I can click and go to it, and it works. But my customers are not going to do that. And so I'm frustrated trying to get them to recognize that my site is okay.
And what do you mean somebody's newsletter? Where'd you get? Come on.
Well, I have this wonderful person, Kim Komando, has a really nice newsletter, and one of her sponsors, I think, is Total AV.
I know. And I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know.
All right. So, so first of all, shame on you for getting malware on your domain. That means you weren't keeping everything all up to date, which you will never do that again.
It turned out it was somebody we were hiring to back end, whatever. I'm not good at this, but we got different people and we got more security and our backups weren't even good and all sorts of stuff. That part we've cleaned up, but we're still blacklisted.
Yes. Yeah, it's what, it's really hard to get off this blacklist. It's called the DNSBL. DNSBL. It's a domain name system black hole list. Okay.
Blacklist. Sure.
Yes. And so basically what it does is it goes out and it tells everybody on the internet that Milo is malware and you should never go anywhere near Milo. He's like that guy, that family member that everybody talks about and nobody likes him.
That's right.
Nobody likes you, Milo. And it's all like, he used to be a nice guy. We don't know what happened. He was all right.
This is sounding way too close to home.
Things went wrong. Okay. Maybe he'll turn his life around someday. Maybe. So what you have is there's a list of addresses out there, and you can remove yourself from this blacklist. But as you said, it becomes almost like whack-a-mole after a while. So your best way to handle all this is for you to pay somebody to do it.
Okay.
Because they have the tools, they have the context, they have everything that you don't have, including time and effort and energy and experience in order to do this. There's a company called RackAid. That's RackAide, RackAid. Okay. And they will monitor and they'll also remove your domain from blacklists. You can do it yourself, and I'm going to I'll send you some links on how to do it yourself, just to make sure you're doing it the right way. But sometimes it's just worth paying somebody to do these things.
I've tried to do, and like I had Kaspersky, and I got tired of it. I shut it off. Customers aren't going to shut it off.
No.
That just gets my irritation level down.
No, and it's and sometimes it seems unfair, and I get this.
It's hard
because
I understand they have to err on the side of caution, but how do I? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to put you on hold. Lovely Amber screening today, and screen our calls. And so Amber, if you could send Milo. I'm going to call you Malware Milo from now on.
Oh, great.
Nice. Send Malware Milo some links that I can put up there for him. And then this way he kind of walk you through exactly how to get yourself off the blacklist and then how to pay somebody else to make sure that it's done for good. And this serves as a reminder for everybody who's listening right now. And if you have a server for your domain and you're like, wow, I haven't checked that out for years. Well, now's the time. Make sure that all of that security stuff is all up to date. And if you have an IT person on board, make sure that they have it as well. And make sure you check out your domain. I'll tell you, I have so many people I hear from like, well, I used to have a domain. I didn't look at it for 10 years. And I went there and it was a spam site. Okay. Don't let that happen to you. Do not be Milo. I'm just kidding you, Milo. I love you. Poor Milo. Now, everybody in his family is going to be calling Malware Milo. Okay. All right. Let's change gears and do a great tip. And this week is brought to us by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. And you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the very best qualified candidates available. That's why you need to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs is smart hiring that puts you in control so your business can find the right people faster and for free. Super easy to use. Just add your job in the purple hiring photo frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word. LinkedIn's simple but effective tools like screening questions, love those, make it so easy to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience. This way, you can quickly prioritize who you want to interview and who you'd like to hire. That's how LinkedIn Jobs helps you find candidates worth interviewing and why LinkedIn is rated #1 in delivering quality hires. Did you know that every week nearly 52 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? So here's the deal. Post your job for free right now at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. And if you're sitting there saying, Kim, I can't find anybody to work in my small business, my large, medium-sized business, whatever it is, go to linkedin.com/Kim and post that job right now for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right. Streaming is so expensive, isn't it? Oh, it's so annoying. I mean, 5 years ago, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu would cost you around $56 a month. The same services now, $110 a month. It's just outrageous. Okay. So you're ready to save. Here's how to do it. Get creative. If you are still paying for all those sports add-ons and you don't look at them, you don't watch them, get rid of them. Focus on what you watch the most. If you're not watching anything on Netflix, just cancel it until you find something that you do like on it. Maybe you might want to watch some ads. Streaming companies are desperate to keep you and get free or cheaper options if you want to put up with commercials. Also, take a look at all of what you are paying for. I use Rocket Money. It's a sponsor of our podcast, and it will comb through everything and tell you what you're paying for as far as streaming access. You can also look at your bank statements to find all your streaming charges. You might want to think about getting an antenna. We have some information about that on the website. Also, look at their freebies. Pluto TV, the Roku channel, even YouTube. There's a lot of free stuff for you to watch. We have a list of this with more details. Just head over to komando.com, and when you're there, hit that link that says Show Picks. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, and then later on, I'm so excited to tell you about this, how you can tap into unclaimed packages from the USPS and Amazon.com here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, listen, we're not getting any younger, but you can bring back your natural radiance with Native Path Collagen. It's scientifically backed to increase bone mineral density, support tissue recovery, reduce wrinkles, enhance hair thickness, and strengthen weak or damaged nails. Now, you can get 45% off and free shipping at getnativepath.com/Kim. Once again, that's getnativepath.com/Kim. All right, let's see. Ryan in Provo, Utah. You're up next.
So something I've been wondering about, if you think back like 20 years ago or more, when I took a picture of something, I'd have, of course, a piece of paper in front of me, a photograph, and I'd flip it over and I'd write down things on it, like the names of people in it or the place or why the picture was important to me. And I'm wondering, what's the digital equivalent of that today? Like, how do I note the pictures I'm taking on my phone? So like my kids will know why it's important.
So this way you can say, okay, this is Grandma, this is, Aunt May's, and she's making dandelion wine or whatever it may be.
Exactly, yeah.
What kind of gear are you using?
Just, my iPhone.
Okay. Well, on your iPhone, you have something called the Photos app, right? You're so familiar with it, I'm sure.
Sure.
When you select a photo, you can actually add details. A lot of people don't know this, is that if you swipe up on the photo, there's an I, when you know what the I stands for? Information, yes. And that's where you can add things like names, locations, events, things that you want to remember. And then it also allows you to search. So if you wanted to find, every picture about Aunt May, that you could go ahead and do that, or something that was between a year or a place or an event or whatever it may be. And then also don't forget that on your iPhone, it has this wonderful thing called facial recognition, right? And so you can find somebody's face, and then hopefully it will go out and then categorize and put everybody under that face. Although it is kind of interesting to me, Ryan, that that sometimes it picks up pictures of my son Ian as me, and I guess that makes sense, But it's like, no, he's like 6'2" and I'm 5'5", okay, and he's a guy and I'm a girl, but that's all right. So you could try that again. Just want to use the I, and then if you find that maybe that's not enough for you, that there are certainly apps that will do things that will allow you to add more details. Sometimes it's called the metadata. And you can also change the date and time of the photos, and using these apps like Slidebox is one that's pretty popular. Another one's called Metapho. But the whole idea is that you can still have those good old days where you can look at a photo and then actually say, oh, this is who this is. And hopefully, 20, 30 years from now, that there'll be a way to read that I, right?
Right.
So, so sometimes it's the way that if I really want to preserve something, is that I kind of go really old school, is that I make a coffee table book. And so maybe it's my mom's 80th birthday party, which I've been working on lately, is to create a photo album of the event and to put details in there because, I don't know what storage is going to look like 5 to 10 years from now, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to have books, right? So I hope so too. Okay, if AI doesn't take over and we all become, the side effects of a robotic evolution or revolution, or we want to call it. So if there are memories that you really hold dear to your heart, is that I would encourage you to actually put them out together as a photo book. You can use like MPix, Shutterfly, any of those sites that will allow you to do that. But again, on your iPhone, just go ahead and use the eye for information. If you're using Google Photos, it has a similar tool built right in there as well. And Ryan, thank you for your call today. The other day I was on an airplane. I want to see how many photos I had on my iPhone. Care to guess? Guess how many photos I have on my iPhone? Oh my gosh. 34,622. It's like, oh, geez. Wow. And it's all organized. Not really. I just lied. All right. Coming up, how to buy unclaimed USPS and Amazon packages here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, just a quick reminder to get the full Komando experience and get my free newsletter. You're going to love it. Join over 500,000 people who do every single day over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Have you ever wondered what happens to orders that the USPS and Amazon can't deliver? It gets sold online, sometimes at really cheap prices. One website to check is govdeals.com. They have USPS contracts to auction undelivered goods. Once again, that's govdeals.com. Now, you're not bidding on some mystery box. You actually see photos and descriptions of each item, so that's good. Another website to check is liquidation.com. Is that you can filter by brand and retailer. It's not just Amazon and USPS. You actually have Target, Walmart, and Home Depot. Now, there are some downsides. Everything may not be in a pristine condition, and there's no way to return it. The sites again, govdeals.com and liquidation.com. Hey, thanks for joining me. Don't forget, 24/7, you can always find me on the website. That's komando.com.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 3.
All right, this is so interesting to me. If you want to get more steps a day, you want to eat more fruits and veggies, and you want to sleep better, what piece of technology should you have? Anybody? Yes, you and the Ford 150, I heard you say a smartwatch. You are correct. New study shows that people with a smartwatch on are doing 55 more minutes of exercise per week. They're getting about 1,300 more steps a day. They're eating 20% more fruits and veggies, and they are sleeping better. Wow, isn't that something? I asked my Apple Watch, what's the time? And it actually said an 80s funk band. It's like, ooh, what is that? On that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show. You know the drill. It's just the best show. It's the award-winning show about all things digital. And I want you to put on that thinking cap because you're about ready to get more tech smarts. Because let me tell you, if you don't have tech smarts, you are tech left behind in the dust. Poof. And if you're traveling around, you can find my show on over 420 top stations, and we're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for Komando with a K. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries, who are joining us right now on the American Forces Network Radio. And great sponsors help to make this show possible, and I always get you guys and gals the best deals. And you can check out all of our sponsors at komando.com/sponsors. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open for all your questions at 1-888-825-5254. And T-Mobile's advanced 5G network now goes farther than ever before. And it seems the older you get, the more savvier you become at saving money. Let me tell you, I'm cheap. I really hate to overspend on things, especially necessities. But thanks to T-Mobile, I don't have to worry about overpaying for wireless service. So I've got more time and money to spend on other things. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a month per line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, Scam Shield Premium is included, which means fewer scam calls and more tools to help you optimize and organize your mobile life. So experience all this and more with T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. I don't want you to miss out. Get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for $30 a month per line at T-Mobile. Visit T-Mobile.com or your local store to make the switch and save.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 25% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details. Capable device required for Scam Shield. Turning on Scam Block. My block calls you want. Disable anytime.
Alrighty, every single day of my life, I do. I go to all these different websites because you can't just go to one source because of those big tech algorithms. I mean, your news is going to be tainted. So I do all the heavy lifting for you. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening right now. And we're going to start with Disney. Yes, the company that has brought us Bambi, right? This is what they've done. When you sign up for an app or subscription, nobody ever reads the terms and conditions. Okay, that's right. We all just say yes and go on with our lives. Well, Jeffrey Piccolo and his wife went to a restaurant in Disney Springs, part of the Disney World Resort in Florida. She had life-threatening allergies and asked if the food was safe. The restaurant assured her, yes, she ate it, and it's heartbreaking, she passed away. So Jeffrey wanted to sue Disney, but they hit him up with this: you can't. When he signed up for a Disney Plus free trial back in 2019, buried in all the terms was a clause saying disputes have to go through arbitration, not court. Yes, he signed a legal agreement when he got that free trial of a streaming app. Now, mind you, the Disney Plus terms and conditions is a roughly 10,000 words. So now he's fighting this ridiculous legal trap. Let me tell you something. Where's Snow White when you need her? After all, she's the fairest one of all. All right, moving on to number 2. Your coworker could be a North Korean spy. What? A guy in Nashville's facing 20 years behind bars for helping North Korea sneak into U.S. companies virtually. Matthew Isaac Nutt allegedly helped North Korea rake in cash for its weapons program, about $250,000, including weapons of mass destruction. North Korean agents stole his identity and scored remote IT gigs with U.S. companies. And one of those companies, KnowBe4, it's actually a cybersecurity company. They did all the usual checks, and once the jobs were secured, the North Koreans used company-issued laptops to spy in American businesses using secretly installed software, and then they funneled the payments through shady accounts tied to North Korea and China. Oh, gosh. Wow. That should be a movie. Moving on to number 3. Too many emails, phone calls, and messages from patients. Doctors are complaining. Doctors at the University of California, San Francisco say that they get 900,000 email threads a year. That's just email. And so now what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to have to pay. Docs are starting to charge for email, text messages, and other communications. If you want a refill, that's going to cost you, even if that takes less time than a phone call. Johns Hopkins is jumping on the pay bandwagon. So is the Cleveland Clinic. And so wherever you get your health care, before you sit there and go, I'm just going to drop my doc a note through email, just pay attention because you may be charged $50 or $75 for that. Number 4, I've predicted a few things that are happening right now. The way that we use the internet is definitely changing. Website traffic is going in the crapper. Google will finally be overthrown at some point and maybe even broken up. And in the future, we're no longer going to have a big washer and a big dryer, because here's what's going on. GE Appliances analyzed data from 13 million laundry cycles across 90,000 homes. And guess what they found? The average American load of laundry sits there for over 2 hours before anyone does anything with it. 2 hours. Wow. That makes it all stinky and gross, right? Then you got to wash it again. So they're going to be coming out with a new type of washer dryer. It's going to be a combo. You dump the clothes in, it washes and dries them in the same machine. Now, let me tell you, we've had these on boats for years, but they're just little tiny things. But now they're going to be full-size washers and dryers, just one unit. It's called the GE Ultra Fast. Samsung has one, and they're expensive. They're about $2,000 each. And finally, this coming in at number 5. About 10 years ago, an angry telemarketer cursed out Roger Anderson's young son when he answered the phone. Roger said, "I'm so tired of telemarketers. Enough is enough." So he decided to take action, and he found a way to get back at them using ChatGPT. He sells an AI robotic voice that he designed to waste telemarketers' time. So here's how it works. When you get an unsolicited call, the AI voice answers the phone. It stays right there on the line. And whenever there's a lull in the conversation, when the other end goes quiet, the robot will just chime in. And then he slips in there with just basic responses like, "Oh, that's interesting. Can you hold on just a sec? Here, take a listen."
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Who's this? What are you calling about again?
This is William with Design. Just seeing if there might be, some work or repair in the future that you might be thinking about doing with the home that we can leave you a good estimate with along with our references so that way you can give us a call back in the future.
Right.
Something maybe on the inside or outside that you might have been thinking of doing later on.
Sure.
So what would that be, like with the kitchen, bathroom, or I don't know, maybe something on the outside, like with painting or with the roof, or maybe even, concrete work?
Oh, geez, hang on. There's a bee on me. Hang on. There's a bee on my arm.
Okay, now, you get the point. Okay, this is all AI generated. Wow, isn't that crazy? I mean, in case you're wondering, why it's so easy to get scammed, I mean, somebody can call you and pretend to be anything. Not so. Hey, when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals who are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Now, let me tell you, LinkedIn is not just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which just makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. Now, LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. And hiring is easy when you have so many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats, might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, for example. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, we have the real price of a grocery store discount coming up. You don't want to miss that. And also how to attend Ivy League schools for free. And we have just really fantastic phone calls from everyday people just like you. And then you have me, Kim Komando. During the holidays when there's so much to do and we're moving quickly to get it all done, it's super easy to make a mistake and just hand over your personal data without even realizing it. That's why it's important to visit privacykim.com for my deal with Incogni to remove yourself from the internet. That's privacykim.com. You're going to get 60% off. And let me tell you, I get no more spammy phone calls since I did. Incogni is fabulous. You want to go to privacykim.com for this deal, privacykim.com. When I read about the story, I just knew that you guys and gals would actually want to know more about it. I mean, how did this happen? It's a crazy story. Well, let me back up just a little bit. Little did 21-year-old Amber Baran know that when she went out to get her mail, it would take this terrifying turn when she found herself held at gunpoint. Could you imagine? Well, what happened to her next? After a threat to get her into her house, the gunman asked her to add him, oh my gosh, to her Facebook friends list. Oh, so Amber's going to tell us more about what happened. And thanks for being here. So walk us through. How did this all occur?
I work a night shift. I get off very late, around 4 a.m. I walked up to my house. I only had enough time to feed my animals. Then I went out to check my mail. and there was already a man walking up to my house as I was walking out. And as I ran into him, he's asked me, "Do you live here?" And I said, "Yeah, can I help you?" And that is when he pulled a gun out of his pocket and said, "Well, I was going to bust into your place, but you can just give me your keys right now."
Oh, gosh. Man.
My first thought was, I do not want this man in my house.
Right? No, thank you.
Definitely not.
So
I understood very quickly what he wanted. And I said, "You know what? I don't have anything in my house. Trust me. We can go to my car. I make cash tips I can give you that I got from tonight." And he said, "Okay, let's go to your car." So I proceeded to go into my car, pull out my tips for the night, and I gave him about $100 because I thought that would satiate him and get him to leave.
that was really smart of you not to let him in the house like that.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard stories about robberies leading to animals being stolen or hurt, and I really care about my animals, so I didn't want him anywhere near them.
Hmm. Or worse, you get hurt, right? I mean,
Right.
horrible.
I think I was very lucky that he did not put his hands on me. That was honestly my first thought when I saw him outside my house. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what if this man grabs me or tries to hurt me? Who knows what's going through his head?" So
So you give him the $100, and then what happens?
while he still has his gun pointed at me, he asks me if I have a boyfriend. I'm confused, but I say, "Yeah." Then he asks me, "Well, does he treat you right?"
Oh no.
As if he's treating me any better right now. But
So the guy who was holding a gun to your head, right? And you just give him $100. He's like hitting on you.
yeah, it was really strange. And then he said, "Well, I'll pay you back. You should add me on Facebook." And I said, "Okay." So I pulled out my phone in front of him and he showed me which one his profile was. I added him as a friend and then he left on a bike. I just made sure that he was gone around the corner, and then I immediately drove over to my boyfriend's house to tell him what happened. I was shaking, crying at this point just because
I'm sure.
that's a scary experience, you know?
Oh, frightening.
I didn't really have
Terrifying.
time
Yeah.
to process that in my head, you know?
So did you get messages from him afterwards on Facebook?
Yeah. So that morning, it would have been the same day. That morning, he messaged me saying, "Hey, I'm going to pay you back because you were just too pretty to rob." And I'm thinking, he's not going to pay me back. I don't expect him to follow through on that. And as long as he's not going to come back to hurt me, I'm not going to be mean to him, which I feel I'm a little ashamed that I did text him back, but I had told my mother at that point and she said, "Well, you don't want to be mean to him because he knows where you live," which was very scary to me. I think that being robbed in my own home was a lot more frightening than maybe being robbed at work or in a parking lot somewhere.
Well, sure, because Amber, your home is supposed to be where you're always safe, right?
Exactly.
Somebody violated that. And now you don't know if when you go home, if you're going to be safe anymore. I mean, that's a natural reaction to this.
Right. And I was just very jolted by this experience. And it took me almost that whole month up until the news story came out to really regain my sense of safety at home.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously you called the police.
Yeah. So I actually did not go straight to the police at first. I went straight to my boyfriend's house and he told him what happened. And he said, "Look, the first thing you need to do is file a police report." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. I don't think I was thinking very clearly at that point." So he did help me call an officer over to take my report. And I worked with a detective from there.
So were they able to find this guy and arrest him?
Yes, thankfully, he had given me his real name on his Facebook, his real account. And when I handed those messages over to the police when they got here, and they said, "Oh, yeah, we know this guy. He's got a couple other pending charges. So we're going to see what we can do about this." But he wasn't arrested immediately, which did put me on edge until he was.
Wow. So you learned some really valuable lessons through this, right?
I think especially because I'm not somebody who owns real weapons or anything. I just kind of put my faith in God that he will protect me. But this experience it was so out of the ordinary for me. I never expected something like this to happen. And I think I am very lucky that I had that encounter and did not get physically hurt.
100%.
So,
right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, because it definitely could have turned a whole completely different direction. And so now I hope that, when you do come home at 4 a.m, that you're not alone, right?
Right. And I have
that-
since moved.
Good.
So
That's good.
that is helping my peace come back to me.
Well, I'm sure that the incident has obviously changed you, and rightfully so. I mean, it should. If it didn't, then we'd be looking at you going, Amber, what's wrong with you, right? I mean, it's a terrifying experience. But I appreciate you coming on and telling your story, because I really wanted to know more about how you were able to get yourself out of this situation and not get hurt. And you definitely shared all that. And Amber, thank you for being here. Okay, we're at the end of the line here. So if you have not already entered to win the $500 Amazon gift card, take this as a sign. You need to do it now. No purchase required. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, have you ever wondered if someone is taking your phone while you're sleeping, opening it up, and then snooping through it? Have you ever wondered? You can check. Like, for example, you want to look at screen time. Inside there, you can see the times that your phone has been open. You can be like, oh no, I was sleeping then. You can also check your phone's browser history. If you use Google Chrome, you can also see your web history from another device. So even if the local info was wiped away on your phone, that search history might be recorded elsewhere. And if you're truly worried about snoops, you can turn off Face ID. You can set a better password. You can sleep with your phone under your pillow. No, don't put it under your phone, the pillow. Don't be doing that. That's just not smart, because it does heat and it goes on fire. Just don't be doing that. All right, stay right where you are. We have more of the show coming up.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your Prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
This radio program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
Okay, it's happened to me, and I know it's happened to you, is that you buy all your groceries, and then when you are getting the receipt, the gal or guy says, oh, you just saved $72.18 because you used the discount. And you're like, oh, yes. Because, you got to give them some type of form of ID in order to get that discount, unless you know the secret. And then later on, how you can attend Ivy League schools for free. So as you're out and about, you can say, what did you do this summer? You say, I took a class at Harvard. Thank you very much. And before we get back to all of your great phone calls, let's talk about eBay. So whether it's Yadro, vintage pants, a used car, you can scroll to listings on eBay to see how much something's worth. But the experts do it a different way. After getting eBay search results, you want to get into the filter and scroll down to sold items. You want to check off the box if you're on a computer, or tap the slider if you're using the app. This way, you only see listings that have actually sold. So this gives you a really good idea of the actual prices. So what is the most expensive thing ever sold on eBay? Here's a little fun fact you can use to impress your family members and friends. It's a Giga Yacht, a 400-foot floating palace, spas and pools, sold for roughly $168 million. Ooh, wow. That's a yacht. That's a yacht. Reggie in Melbourne, Florida. Hi there, Reggie.
Hi, Kim. Love the show for a long time. Thank you so much for all the information. And a week and a half ago, saving me a lot of money from a scam.
What happened?
Well, I might have clicked on the wrong website, and my computer locked, which I had only owned for about a week and a half. And I should have known better, but I thought I turned it off or reset, but I just barely turned it on and off. So I called the phone number, and holy cow, 4 hours of my life that I will never get back.
Oh.
I have heard similar tales on your show, so the alarms kept going off in my head, and it took about the 7th or 8th one to say, when they said gift cards.
Oh.
And I'd heard other people tell you, and it might have been ladies, who said you've downloaded child porn or somebody from your IP address. And he goes, your phone and your computer has been compromised, and so don't accept any phone calls. And you might be subject to, federal, do you understand the laws about child porn? I'm like, yes, I've heard. So scared the hell out of me.
I'm sure.
Then we got disconnected, and I called back, and somebody else answered. And he gave me a different website that I supposedly downloaded from. And they always had papers rustling in the background when they were answering the phone. So they're reading a script. I didn't realize that at the time, but, when you replay it for 2 or 3, 4 days, you start, reliving what actually happened. And then he goes, well, here's what we want to do. We would like to do a duplicate transaction from what happened at 4:46 on your computer when I was sleeping. And then in 15 minutes, we'll call you back and say, delete both transactions. And we'd like you to drive to, and I'm not going to use the name of the big box store. And I said, well, geez, I listened to, and I'm sure I said the name of your show. And anytime they say gift cards, it's a red light. And he goes, oh, no, they have federal government secure gift cards.
Oh, come on.
I swear. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I had written down these guys' names, and they had given me, I'm in Redmond, Washington. I'm with Microsoft. And he gave me a name, and I looked it up, and actually it looked like he was an actual engineer for Microsoft. So I guess it's easy to fake that.
Yeah, they just get those names on LinkedIn. That's all that is. So how much did they want in the gift cards?
$6,000.
$6,000?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So how'd you get rid of them?
Well, okay. So I guess I left a little bit out of the story. Every time I questioned, and I was like I was giving them a hard time. So if my phone and my computer are compromised, how can I do this or that? And they wanted me to go into my bank account. And I downloaded something that I got rid of within 3 or 4 hours. But it was, the Microsoft secure browser is what they told me. It sounded real. So
well,
I was on my way to this big box store, and I knew I wasn't going to buy any gift cards. I said, you know what? I got to go home. I forgot, and I wanted all these guys' phone numbers and names, which I'm sure were all fake. But I went straight to my credit union and changed all my online banking. They didn't get in. They had it for about 15 or 30 minutes, but they didn't get any money from me.
Okay, well, here's a couple of red flags. Number one is for you. I want you to make sure that they didn't leave any traces anywhere on your computer if they did have access to it. I know it's not a happy thought, Reggie, because it's a total pain in the neck, is to do a whole factory reset on that laptop. So that this way, if they did leave any tracings, that I want to make sure that they don't have access to anything still on your computer. Make sure that you get some good antivirus softwares from Total AV. They're a sponsor of our show. It's $19 for the first year. You have to go to this address, though, protectwithkim.com. And you said that also your laptop was relatively new. You only had it for a week and a half before this happened. Make sure that you get all the Windows updates. They just released, Microsoft just fixed 78 problems or something like that with Windows 11 this past week alone. But I'm so glad that by listening to the show, you didn't give $6,000 of your money to scammers in gift cards. Ugh, the government-backed gift cards. That's the best one I've heard yet. Reggie, thanks for giving us a call and telling the story. And I bet you just saved a couple more bucks. I just love helping you guys and gals. I do. I just love it. All right. Even though I'm not in school anymore, back to school shopping is still exciting. And there's something about getting back into a routine that's comforting, especially when you're picking out all those new things you're going to be using every single day. An absolute must-have for me this fall, Raycon's best-selling everyday earbuds, especially since Raycon's everyday earbuds now feature a new design that fits in every ear, that also has multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once, and also has active noise cancellation. And you can even quick charge them in about 10 minutes. Yeah. And they're available in a variety of new colors to complement any and all personalities. Now, all that sounds good, but Raycons sound even better. Seriously, you get the quality on these guys that just rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio. Now, if you're not convinced, Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee for easy returns, so you can just give them a try. Here's what you need to do. Go to buyraycon.com/Kim today, and you'll get 20 to 40% off site-wide. That's right, up to 40% off on everything on Raycon's website, but you have to go to this address, buyraycon.com/Kim. That's buyraycon.com/Kim. All right, imagine this has happened to you. Someone drops yogurt on the grocery store floor and you slip and you just shatter your knee. And the grocery store comes back to you after a while because you got legal help. And also they say, listen, there's nothing we can do. We're sorry that she fell, but she's a boozer. She's an alcoholic. I mean, look at how much wine she buys along with vodka and other spirits. Because every time you swipe that loyalty card, it tells the store everything that you purchased, when you bought it, what quantity, and more. Has your name, your address, your phone number, and also maybe tied to your credit and debit cards. So those discounts that you're getting, you're paying for that with your data. And I know what you're saying, like, but Kim, groceries are so expensive. I need to save some money. So what you want to do is maybe use somebody who has passed away. You can use their phone number. You can use your office number. You can get a Google Voice number, whatever it is. In addition to that, you can always just say to the person who's behind the cash register, and say, you know what, I don't have my card. Can I use yours? And then typically they're just going to swipe a card, and then you can still get those discounts. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as later on how you can tell all your family members and friends that I'm going to Yale. AI tools aren't just for me and you. Cyber criminals are using them too. That's why I use Total AV, award-winning antivirus protection for just $19 a year. Go to protectwithkim.com for just $19 for the first year protection. This is solid antivirus software, folks. Protectwithkim.com, protectwithkim.com. Let's see, Deborah in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Hey, Kim. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Oh, anytime, anytime. How can I help you?
Well, I'm working on gathering information for our 60th high school reunion. I'm trying to track down our classmates so that we can send them save the dates, invitations, registration. Now, we do have a list from our 10th year reunion, but emails and some phone numbers, but they're all, when we used a lot of them, they're all coming back.
For sure.
As invalid or what have you. So I'm looking maybe at a site or some something you could help us with to find our classmates from 60 years ago.
And you all look the same, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. I did the lanyards on the last one with photos, and I'm just glad we all had photos on our lanyards.
That's great, Deborah. I love that. This is what I used to look like when I'm 18. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
It's just funny because I was having a conversation with my niece recently, and she's in that awkward stage, Deborah, where she doesn't think that she's pretty. Okay. And she's 20 years old, just a knockout. And I looked at her and I said, I said, a lot of us, we didn't think that we were pretty when we were younger. But now that we're older, we look back and go, oh my gosh, we were drop dead gorgeous. Okay. I said, so.
I know. You look at those old pictures and you hated them, and then you look at yourself now and you're like, oh, I didn't look so bad then.
No, I was hot. For sure. For sure. All right. So first step is I would create a Facebook group.
Okay.
And you can make it private and start adding everybody that you know of to that Facebook group. And then they can start inviting other people that they know, as well as it gives you a place where you can start saying, hey, whatever happened with Bob, whatever happened with Jill, whatever happened with JoJo, whoever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you can start collecting information that way. Now, there are some other places that you can go to. There's classmates.com, there's White Pages. There's also a website that I hate, but it's going to help you. Have you ever been to familytreenow.com?
No.
Familytreenow.com has a lot of personal information. And it's one of these sites that when you look yourself up, you're going to be shocked at the amount of personal details about you that are on this site. Now, the good news is you can use it to find other people. The bad news is other people can use it to find you. Okay, so that's where you want to make sure that you opt out of familytreenow.com. It's just one of, say, over, I don't know, there are like 48,000 different sites right now that are selling personal information. Well, not that many, but you know what I mean. And so you want to make sure that your personal details are not on this site. The way to opt out, we have it free for the taking over at komando.com, komando.com, komando.com. But if you really want to scrub yourself out of the data broker sites, the people search sites, there's really only one way to do it. You want to go to privacykim.com, and that's where you can sign up for Incogni. It's 60% off. Let me tell you, since I've used Incogni, I get zero text messages, zero spammy text messages, and zero spammy phone calls. Right. It's just fabulous. Privacykim.com gives you 60% off. But again, you're going to want to use this site, Deborah, in order to find other people. But that Facebook group is really going to be a great resource for you. I have a feeling that Deborah was a cheerleader. I think she was. Hayden in Houston, Texas, you're up next.
Hello. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. What's going on?
I signed up for UPS Informed Delivery, and I keep getting these emails on my outbound, and it's from TikTok. And they basically, I guess they're shipping, referencing my address as outbound for shipping. But I don't have a TikTok account. I'm not shipping anything out on it. I don't know why that's happening.
Sounds like somebody is using your home address, and they're saying that's the shipping from location because they don't want to use their address, or maybe they're located in another country, right?
Right.
So your first step is you can always, make a complaint over TikTok. I'm not sure that's going to do anything for you. Instead, I would visit my local post office, show them exactly the notifications that I'm getting, and ask them what steps that they can take to prevent your address from being misused, because that's what's going on. If it's fraud, which it probably is that what I would do is also make a complaint with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, of course. If you go to the Internet Crime Complaint Center online, this is where you can upload pictures of what's going on, what you're getting, and file a complaint with them. The whole idea is that if they see a trend of this going on, that they can try to figure out where it's coming from and then shut it down. But I'd start by visiting the local post office and filing a complaint with them. I don't think you have to worry about identity theft, but be sure if you start getting any other type of weird messages, letters in the mail, credit cards that you didn't apply for, definitely that was going to be suspect there. And that's a good idea for you to go ahead and freeze your credit just in case. Hayden, thank you for your call today. Hey, by the way, if you're just too shy to come on a big-time radio show and podcast, you can always drop me your questions right over at komando.com. Head to komando.com, and then there's a link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me there, Again, that's commando.com, Ask Kim. So the next time you're tempted to DM me on social or put it under something that we've posted on Facebook, just know for me to actually make sure that I see it is that you need to go to commando.com and hit that link that says Ask Kim. All right, still to come, how to attend Ivy League schools for free. Yes, I said for free here on the Kim Komando Show. Let's talk about Stanford. Okay, in-state tuition is about $80,000 a year. But you can tell all your family members and friends that you're going to Stanford or Harvard or Yale or MIT. You can learn from top university instructors and industry experts at no cost whatsoever. It's all part of MOOC, short for Massive Open Online Courses. At mooc.org, you can find over 3,000 free online classes, whether you're interested in AI, computer science, finance, psychology, writing, marketing, biology, electronics. You get the drift. It just goes on and on and on. So the next time you're mindlessly scrolling on Facebook or X or Instagram, Snap, Pinterest, whatever it may be, you can put that noggin to work because knowledge is power and learning is a lot of fun. That's mooc.org. And don't forget to enter to win that brand new iPhone 16. Do it now at winfromkim.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. And on TikTok this past week, oh my gosh, there was a video that was just blowing up. And they say it's a brand new way to tell if you're really old or not. Okay, it's not by how you look. It's that maybe you know what this is. Take a listen. You know what that is? Anybody? Oh, yeah. That was like, oh, the sound of freedom, the sound of technology, the sound of the future. It was the dial-up internet sound. Right? So they say this noise is familiar to anyone who was born before 1998. And that noise is known as handshaking, by the way. To make your internet work, the ISP would answer the call, connect to your modem, and then the sounds would come by, and it would last, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or just about there. That made me start thinking about other things that the kids might not know about. What about pagers? Yeah. Let's see, Walkman, VHS tapes, floppy disks, CDs. Yes, they may not even know what those are. And think about this. Cassettes, tapes, you remember those. They had side A and side B. So their only logical successor would be the CD. Oh, yeah. On that happy note, I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the best show. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And let me tell you something. You're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you can find my award-winning show in over 425 top stations throughout the United States. And you can find us streaming as a podcast, as a webcast, 24/7 over on the website. That's commando.com. Just hit that button that says Komando Community. And yes, it is commercial free. Now, if you're listening on the radio, we totally love that. But just a reminder, again, you can get this as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Komando Show. And I know you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. So our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder, if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show and pod, I get that. You can always drop me your questions over on the website. That's commando.com and hit that link that says Email Kim. And I'd like to thank ExpressVPN for helping to make this show possible today. Even in incognito mode, your internet service provider can see every single website that you visited. So here's what you need to do. Anonymize your activity with ExpressVPN's best-in-class encryption. You get an extra 3 months free by going to this special address, expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. All right, every single day I check out at least 35 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on all things digital. And here are 5 things you need to know about tech that's happening right now. We're going to start with something that has happened to you and has happened to me. You're just having this convo with a friend of yours about something, maybe taking a trip to Paris or buying a brand new electric bike. Then you hop on Facebook and bam, what do you see? Ads for hotels in Paris and maybe some shops around you that sell electric bikes. And so you're sitting there saying, is Facebook listening? They must be. Well, here's the deal. Consumer Reports, they did extensive research and they found the answer is no, they're not. They're doing something else that will shock you even more. Turns out Facebook is not listening because they're getting all of our personal likes, dislikes, searches, doctor's visits, our pets, our purchases, our kids, our political affiliation, our working hours, our locations, from about 48,000 companies. Yes, I said 48,000 companies. Wow. Data brokers like LiveRamp, along with the other big retailers, even small shops are in it. So myth busted, Facebook does not need to listen because they're getting the data from those 48,000 companies. Wow, isn't that something? All right, moving on to number 2. Anyone who's ever had their car stolen wonders, was it sold for parts? Where the heck did you go? So we're going to have to go to Toronto, Canada for this story. That's where car owner Andrew had his SUV stolen right from his driveway. But good news, because Andrew was smart, he hid an AirTag inside his SUV. So he tracked where the vehicle went through his Apple Find My app. Now, this is really interesting. First, the SUV was taken to a nearby rail yard. After that, it went to the port of Montreal. And after that, the AirTag just went offline. But Andrew wasn't out of luck. 50 days later, his SUV's AirTag went online again. And where was it? Nearly 7,000 miles away. Yeah, in a used car lot in the United Arab Emirates. So here's what everybody needs to do right now. I want you, if you're on Apple, buy an AirTag. Now, if you're on Team Android, you can get a tile tracker. So you're going to pop it in your vehicle's engine bay using some Gorilla duct tape. That's waterproof, really strong duct tape. So this way you always know where your car is located. Moving on to number 3, it should come as a surprise to nobody. I mean, nobody's big on EVs right now because of multiple reasons. In the freezing weather, they're just not going to start, and they just take too long to charge up. And charging stations are few and far between, and people are getting stranded. So GM, Ford, and Volkswagen have vastly scaled back the production. But what if you still want a gas or diesel car, but you still want to maybe get into the electric niche? That's where you want to look at a hybrid. Hybrids never need charging. The gas engine does all that for you while you're driving and providing with 60 to 70 miles per gallon. Mercedes, Toyota, Kia, and others, they say that this is the future. Moving on to number 4, just a few years ago, wrist-worn fitness devices were all the rage. And this year, what turns out is that professional athletes are dumping their trackers. That's right. They say it's just too much data. They're not having fun anymore. So from the pros to average people, they say that these fitness devices have become addictive. So instead of enjoying the moment, they realize that they are addicted to the data. The walk, the run, the swim, no longer fun. It's a chore to compare the progress, the lack of it, and then pick up the next day to outdo the day before. So if you're no longer enjoying your daily exercise, it's time to dump the tracker. You know what? I did. And finally, this coming in from number 5, you get a call from tech support from your bank. They say, uh-oh, we've spotted some fraud on your account, and I'm here to help you. CNBC reported about Marjorie Bloom. She's a 77-year-old widower who got a call from someone claiming to be a fraud investigator at her PNC Bank. And then the guy on the phone says criminals are on the brink of draining your savings account using stolen data that they found about you online. And to keep your money safe, Marjorie, you need to act fast. Move the money out of that bank, but you have to keep it hush-hush. Not a word to anyone, not even to your children. So over the next month, Marjorie, wire transfers her entire life savings to a new bank, $661,000. As you guessed it, it was all a sham. Scams like this can snag anyone. So if you ever get a call of this sort, something like this, I want you to hit up your official bank's number to double check and then tell someone immediately about it, someone who you trust. Say, this is the call I got. I'm not sure if this is legit. Can you help me figure it out? This year, keep your family safer than ever with Simply Safe. I trust Simply Safe in my own home, and I recommend it to everybody. Save 20% on a brand new system with a Fast Protect plan at simplysafekim.com. Once again, that's simplysafekim.com. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, time to stop mailing checks. I can tell you what that means to you. Also, your streaming device, it's tracking you too. I'm going to tell you more about that. And why you need to talk to all the kiddos in your family about deep fakes. And of course, we have all of your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And I have a few things to tell you about before we get rocking and rolling in this hour. Number one, I'm giving away a $1,000 PC or Mac, totally your choice. You get $1,000 to buy whichever computer that you want. And how you enter to win is over at komando.com/win. That's komando.com/win. That's right. You could have your hands on a brand new PC or Mac, literally. Okay, I'm giving one away. You just have to go to komando.com/win. And the other thing I want to tell you about is I'm super excited is that we launched Kim Komando Today, a revamped podcast and webcast called Kim Komando Today this past week. And so you can get it wherever you get your videos. Number one is talking about YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Facebook, you name it. Just go to the official Kim Komando page on any place where you get your videos. And I'm sure we're streaming there. Then you can also get it as a podcast too. So if you don't want to watch the video live or on demand, and maybe you're more of a podcast type, a gal or guy, is that you can also get it as a pod. Just search for Kim Komando Today, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, let's see. Amber in Oklahoma, you're up next. Glad to have you with us, Amber.
Thank you so much. I have never called into a radio show before, but I just thought I have a definitely difficult situation right now, and I've heard you help so many people, so I thought maybe you could help.
Okay, well, I'm here, and this is my role in life, Amber. It is. I try to lend a hand wherever I can. It's very fulfilling for me. So if I can certainly, point you in a direction, I'm happy to do so. So tell me what's going on.
So I have recently had to get guardianship of my mother because of dementia, and she's actually doing better. We almost were to the point of nursing home placement, but then she started to improve, and so her doctor had said, no, she doesn't have to change her living arrangement. So she's still living on her own, but just with more intervention from me and my other siblings, but I'm the one that got guardianship of her.
So, all right. So you're in charge.
Yes.
Okay.
And while we were helping her clean her house, kind of get things together, when we thought she was going to the nursing home, we found credit card bills, which we didn't know that she had. She sold her home a couple of years ago, well, maybe 2018, maybe 2019, something like that. And at that point, I knew that she paid off her credit card bills with the money that she sold her home with. So these are, credit cards that have built back up over these last few years.
Yes.
There are two of them, and they total about $40,000. And she does not have the money or any assets at this point to pay those off. She's already spent the money from selling her home. So I'm just wondering, I know that with her having dementia, if I call the credit card company, I know that they'll, hopefully try to work with me a little bit. But with $40,000, I didn't know, are we already to the point that I need to be talking to a bankruptcy attorney on her behalf or a credit counseling agency? But then I know that not all of those are reputable. So I didn't know really where to start there.
Well, from a past caregiver to you, I will tell you, this is hard. Okay. It's emotionally draining. And for some reason, she selected you to be the one in charge. And like my mom selected me to be in charge, right?
I'm the only girl. And that's, it's just a little easier, I think, for them to depend on the daughter.
And it's, yes. And a lot of times it is 100%. You bring up a good point about dementia credit cards. That happened with my grandmother. And we were able to reverse the charges by providing the diagnosis and by writing a letter. And whenever I write a letter to a company, I don't write a letter to the customer service manager. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. what I do is I'll go to whatever company it is, and I will find whoever's in charge, the CEO or the president. And then when you go to that web page where it says like about the company, and then they'll probably have like this happy picture of the CEO with all these great words about how customers are their number one priority and it's their goal and their paradigm or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, just a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that doesn't mean anything. But inside there, you're going to find a line that's where they talk about how they take their business seriously and customers are their number one asset and all this other stuff. And then I write a letter using that word in the first sentence is on your website. You say this, but this is how you failed. Okay. And that seems to work most of the time. Okay. So I would definitely appeal to that. I would freeze her credit if you haven't done that already. So that this way nobody else she can't take any credit cards or, at least limit the debt. Bankruptcy, she probably at this point in her life, she's not going to need credit at any other point, right?
No.
So, I mean, is there a real downside to that? No, but other than that, it's going to take a lot of time, effort, energy, and money, because it will. Okay. There is something called the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, NFCC. Okay. I would definitely want you to reach out to them. It's a nonprofit, so it's none of these agencies that you'll see online. You know what I mean? Where they're gonna charge you a fee to get rid of whatever debt that you've accumulated. But they can connect you to a credit counselor that can give you different options. And because they're nonprofit, I mean, their aim is to provide education, take care of you, take care of other things. Bankruptcy, it can discharge unsecured debts like the credit card debt, but it is a complex legal process. So that's why if it were me, I would write letters to the credit agents or the credit cards about the $40,000, about how, that this is, she is ill. I have power of attorney and I'm her primary caregiver, and it's my goal to reduce this debt. And then I would reach out to that NFCC. But I wouldn't do bankruptcy just because I think, again, it's a legal process, it's complex, and it's going to cost you money.
Okay.
Does that help you out?
It does. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. If you were running across anything else as you go through all this, Amber, anything from how to take care of your mom with technology, or you want to, run something by me, I'm going to give you my personal email address, and I'm always here for you, really, 100%. And remember, always take care of yourself. Okay, promise me that. Just 10 minutes a day, Amber. 10 minutes for you only, just you. Whether it's just you sitting down and meditating, listening to Bible in a year, whatever it may be. Just take that 10 minutes a day just for you. All right, let's talk about you and how you're paying your bills. Okay, one of the best things that you can set up is auto pay, right? And so that this way you don't have to get the paper statements in the mail, and then you got to write the check, and then you got to do it. And the only thing that I caution you about auto pay is that you want to make sure that the bill is correct, okay? Because so often you maybe don't check things and you find out that the costs have gone up, especially when it comes to streaming. I don't know if you've looked at your streaming costs lately, but I did the other day, and I was spending, past tense, I was spending about $150 a month on streaming. And I'm like, dude, Barry, where are you signing up? And why are you signing up for this? Do you know YouTube TV? Do you know how much that is? YouTube TV? Granted, you get a lot of things. You get the local channels, and you get just about every other cable channel. You get a DVR built in. But he signed up for that because he didn't get Fox News when we were traveling. Nobody didn't tell anybody about it. $75 a month. That was on top of the $150. So if you haven't looked at your streaming costs lately, you really need to do that. I digress. I really want to talk to you about writing checks, though, because now is truly the time to go paperless. Check fraud is so bad that it has doubled within the last year. So people might be writing fewer checks, but the amounts on those checks have actually increased. Get this. The current average check amount clocks in at over $2,600. Wow. So that's enough to make a criminal go through your mailbox, steal your mail or your identity. So they target envelopes that look like checks being mailed or bill payments. So now's the time to play it super safe. If you need to write a check, I want you to start using a security pen. It's also known as a check washing pen. It uses specially formulated ink that gets trapped in the paper, and that makes it difficult for criminals to wash or erase it. So a few more steps to take. Make sure that you monitor your accounts, be proactive of your checking account and banking number, and make sure that you also secure your mailbox. I'll tell you, it reminds me of last year I used my tax refund check to buy baby chickens. Yes, that's right. I got money for nothing and the chicks for free. Oh, that was a good one. Hey, stay right where you are. We have more tips, tricks, and secrets and phone calls you don't want to miss here on The Kim Komando Show.
This radio program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
All right, we're all sick of email. They're rambling ones that you get from coworkers and clients, your boss, your neighbor, your cranky uncle. Get this, the folks at the messaging app Slack, they surveyed 8,000 small business workers. Turns out our old ways of sending emails are just plain time wasters. They're just a nightmare. So here are some tips. First, the magical number. This is what you need to know. 8 sentences or more, and 57% of people ignore parts of the email or they just skim it. That would be me. I'm right there. Instead, try this. Put all the most important info in the first line. Write it in bullet points to save time, and that's when you want to get people's attention. Now, if you need to write more than a few sentences, you need to have a conversation, right? Or maybe a text or just online chat. Oh, one more thing. Over 50% of people who use email say they've been called by the wrong name. I also admit I have done that to people. So embarrassing. So what do I do now? I just say, hey, hi, cheers. Hope you're doing well. So this way you don't make that mistake again. All right, coming up, we have some tips about your streaming device and how it's tracking you. And then later on, why you really need to talk to your kids about deep fakes now if you haven't done that already. And let's see, Harry in Cedar City, Utah. Hello there, Harry.
Well, I got a little bit of a problem. I am with a company that protects my computer as well as protects and offers me my passwords. Of late, I've had a problem trying to sign on to some of my apps. There's about 70 of them.
Ooh.
And so I contacted this particular company to describe the problem to them. I did that. A couple of times they even accessed my computer, and to no avail. In fact, the last couple of times, I think they even blocked me after cutting me off because I couldn't get back onto the company. 2 questions.
Yeah.
One is, as I said, I have about 70 different apps on my computer that I have used the password vault to. And that's a lot to sit down and copy each one of those passwords. I've asked them every time if I could get something where I could just download the passwords to print them out or
yeah,
whatever.
you know what? You should be able to export them out.
I wish I could.
I'm not sure which program that you're using, but we can certainly find the steps for you on how to do that.
Okay,
This becomes a little bit of an issue in that you described because we use a password manager, and then if we're not happy with that password manager, well, how do we get away from that password manager?
Bingo.
Right. Okay. So you do have to have a list of all the accounts, and we're going to give you, Harry, a membership to the Commando community. So that this way we can offer you step-by-step help that way and give you the links that you need in order to do that. And so when we hang up, Amber's going to pick you up. We're going to get your information how to do that. And that's where there's a Q&A forum there. And that's where our IT geniuses hang out. My IT genius, John, hangs out there, Harry, just to let you know. Okay. This is the man in my life that knows every single one of my passwords. Okay. He knows my home security system. He fixes my laptops, my desktops, my iPads. He sets up my phone. You get my gist, right? Okay.
I do.
Okay. He's amazing. Truly, truly amazing. So we start by getting an inventory of all your accounts, and then you have to pick a new password manager you want one. Then you set it up, and you're going to export your passwords. Normally, you can export all of your passwords in what's called a CSV file, and that is a Microsoft Excel file or maybe other format. But a new password manager should be able to just suck that CSV file right up. And then what you want to do is update your passwords, right? Because you want to make sure that nobody has a copy of your old passwords. And I know it's a pain in the neck, but you just kind of have to do that. Some of these password managers will actually kind of walk you through all of that process. But it is always a consideration. You put your eggs all in one basket. Suddenly you don't like that basket anymore. So now I got to get them all out and I got to put them someplace new. So this requires just a little bit of hand holding, and that's where we like to send folks to the Komando community, which if you haven't checked it out, I'm telling you, that Q&A board is the best. It is. Anytime you have any tech questions that you need the step-by-steps for, we got your butt totally covered. There's a 30-day free trial, as well as after that, it's just a few bucks a month. It's less than $5 a month. And not only do you get to use the forum and we help you out there, but also you get to watch us do the show and take the calls and all kinds of good stuff like that. Again, that's the Komando community. In case you want to check it out yourself, go to komando.com. Support what we do, support our newsletters, everything. Truly appreciate that. Hit the button that says Komando community. And Harry, for you, hang on the line. We're going to be happy to set you up, but we just got to get some information from you. And then we'll be happy to kind of point you in a direction that way. And again, thank you for your call. All right, let's go ahead and do a great tip. And this week is brought to us by Incogni. Ever wonder how spammers get your number and email address? It's usually through data brokers because they collect and sell your personal data to the highest bidder. That's why to really cut back on spam, you need to get your information out of those databases. No kidding, I'm telling you, it would take you hundreds and hundreds of hours to do this yourself. And this is where Incogni comes in. You see, Incogni automates all the hard work. It checks for and removes your data from over 180 data brokers and people search sites. Isn't that amazing? I'm telling you, it takes just a few minutes to sign up. Took me 2 minutes or 3 minutes to sign up. And let me tell you, so far, my name and sensitive data like my date of birth, all my addresses, phone numbers, have been removed from 104 databases. Wow. And you know what else that means? I'm telling you, the text spam has just stopped. It has just stopped since I've gotten myself out of these data broker sites. Spam has also decreased too. This is an amazing service. That's why I negotiated a great offer for you. Save yourself from the hassle of manual data removal. Find peace from spam within 30 days or you're going to get your money back. You want to go to Incogni.com, use code KIM60. You're smart. That's how you get an exclusive 60% discount. Let me spell that for you. It's INCOGNI, Incogni.com. Use promo code KIM60. You're going to love this. I'm telling you. You got to check it out. Incogni.com. And again, that promo code is KIM60. All right. Have you ever wondered how all the advertisements you see when you're watching a show, they just seem to know certain things about you? Maybe the political party you support, the food that you're buying your dog, or the sneakers that you're wearing that very moment. The answer, yes, you're being tracked. The Amazon Fire TV Stick, Roku, and Rest are great options, truly, when you've cut the cable. And they're cheap, too. The trade-off? Well, let me tell you something. These streaming companies track what you watch, for how long, and what you look up. And then they sell all the data to who knows who. So here's what you can do. Nosy around in your device's privacy settings. The option that lets the streaming company track you may be called a couple of things. Maybe app usage data, limit ad tracking, or maybe simply tracking data. Now, other times, companies, they come up with these clever names. It's called interactive advertising. And you're like, interactive advertising. Why would I turn that off? That sounds like something so futuristic that I would love. Yeah, turn it off. So your television is doing the same thing. You can dig in your settings to turn off your TV from tracking you too. And if you need the steps for that, we've got a couple of posts over at Komando.com that will walk you through whatever brand TV that you have, how you can turn off your television's tracking. Because let me tell you something. You may have heard me say this before, but you know, Vizio TVs, they only make a quarter of their revenues off of the TVs themselves. Everything else, It's from the data that they're collecting and they're selling. Whew, I'll tell you, pretty nutso stuff. Just search for Komando.com and say, turn off my TV tracking, and I bet you a couple of posts are going to pop right up for you. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as why it's really important that you talk to the kiddos and your family about deep fakes. And I want you to do it right after you listen to me here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, make sure that you enter to win that $500 Amazon gift card right now. Just do it. No purchase required. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Again, that's a $500 Amazon gift card. Hey, just a quick reminder about Kim Komando today. I'm so excited about this new show. We're having just a blast. I was laughing so hard the other day that my eyes were watering. Joining me for Kim Komando today is Andrew Babinski, which, as many of you know, if you've been longtime listeners, he was my call screener for so many years. And now he's back with our daily podcast. And I really, really have missed him. We just have this great energy together. And then if you can't catch the show live, I totally get that. Maybe you're busy. It's not your lunchtime, whatever it may be, is that you can always watch the episode right after we record it. Now, you can also get it as a podcast, too. So if you're more into the audio type of gal or guy because you want to listen on your walks or on your drives, whatever it may be, you can always get the podcast. That's Kim Komando today, wherever you get your podcasts. And let's see who's up next. Bill in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi there, Bill.
Well, I have a bit of a conundrum. My wife has beat up her old Apple phone. And before I dive into all the new ones that are out, I got to make sure I get this right.
You're funny.
Happy wife, happy life, you know.
Exactly. So which one does she have now?
I don't know. It's older than rocks. That's all I can tell you. But it does work. She just got her Series 9 GPS cellular watch. So we use, if that makes a difference, we have that on our phones too.
All right. That's awesome. Is she loving the watch?
Oh yeah. It's her, at least her second one.
Nice. All right, good. All right. So here's the deal. You said the magical phrase, okay? Happy wife, happy life, right? And so is she an avid photographer?
No, but I think she's going to go more that direction.
Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. Anytime you're talking about photography, that's when you always want to look at the latest iPhone, because as the generations get better, right, all the capabilities gets better. And so right now, the top of the line is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Okay, that's the phone I have. It's a big phone, but it has a 48 megapixel main camera. It has 5 times telephoto zooms. It also has an ultra wide lens. And it's really just, when you see the photos that this phone can take, oh my gosh, Bill, it's astounding. I mean, and when you look at videos, it's almost as if you're looking at something that you would have expected to come out of Hollywood. Okay. And then you have all these different modes. You have action modes and macro modes and cinematic modes, especially for video. So if she's taking any videos, that's what she wants to do. The front camera has autofocus. And so this way, if she's taking a selfie or she's having a video call, it's going to look great. It also does HDR. So again, this is like the top of the line. And it sounds like she keeps things for a long time, huh?
Yes, we do.
So you could get the iPhone 14 Pro Max if, there's a budgetary issue. I wouldn't go anything lower than a 14 at this point.
Okay. Now, another question very quickly is that she does like whatever the model is to be the larger one, because even when she uses personal computers and stuff.
So the Pro Max is the bigger one.
Okay.
Because it goes Pro, it goes Pro Max, and then they have SE is the little tiny one. But it sounds like you're going to look at the 14 Pro Max, or you're going to look at the 15 Pro Max.
What is the difference between the 14 and 15?
Probably about $300 or $400. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And also 1 year. The Pro Max does have a better image quality, and it does have better in low light performance. But when we start looking at, is it this much different? Not really. As a matter of fact, when I gave my husband my 14 Pro Max, and I got the 15 Pro Max. I sat there and I thought to myself, I just wasted like $1,500, you know? It's just like, and he was really thrilled because he came off the iPhone SE. And so, you know, if you can't afford the 15, I would just go ahead and go with the 14 because they are essentially the same. Yeah, I know the 14 Pro Max has the A15 Bionic chip and the 15 Pro Max has the A16 Bionic chip, but you know, really, if you're just going to be sitting there taking some pictures, I would stick with the 14 or the 15. Don't go to 13 because you guys keep things a long time. Bill, thank you for your call today. Now, that's a smart man right there. Rob in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello there, Rob.
Hey, first of all, I want to say I've listened to you when I can for probably decades. I don't know how long you've been on the air, as long as I can remember, and I really appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, well, I've gotten to know some friends on some apps in other countries, and we don't have enough of a common language. But the apps we use have text translation during a video call. Mm-hmm. And we kind of like to get away from that because they're kind of pay per minute and like to get to something where we don't quite have, we want to save money. And I'm wondering if there's a video call app that has at least text translation available.
Well, you know, probably the best text translator out there in the entire universe is Google Translate. Yep. And, you know, you can use that with Google Meet for your video calls. It is free. And basically, you're going to get the Google Translate app, iOS, Android, whichever team that you're on. Select the language. And then there's a camera icon, and that's, of course, for if something like you're going to use a picture for, which is not in your case, but just don't want to pass that along. But then there's also a button that says transcribe, and that's for real-time spoken word translation. So you can use the camera, as I mentioned, to capture the text on the screen, but you're going to use transcribe because that's going to provide some real-time translation of the conversation. You know, it's a really great thing that you're doing, and it's kind of so futuristic, Star Trek, when you start thinking about it, that we could be having a conversation, and then right next to it in the window shows the full conversation going back and forth in English and whatever language, really any language in the world that you want to think about is available through Google Translate. And I know there are other translation programs, but, you know, Google Translate, it does work side by side Google Meet. So if you're going to be doing video calls, just seems like a natural match for that. And Rob, thank you for your call today. You know, speaking of translations, let me tell you this. Sugar is the only word in the English language where the SU makes a sh sound. Sugar. At least I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, you might have to think about that one. Hopefully you had your coffee. All right, coming right back, deepfakes are all over. You need to talk to your kids about this here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, make sure that you enter to win that $500 Amazon gift card right now. Just do it. No purchase required. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Again, that's a $500 Amazon gift card. All right, this happened in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, you're not going to believe this story. When Billy Blocka found out that his 11-year-old daughter was sending inappropriate images and messages to a man online, he called the police. So when the officers showed up at the door at midnight, Billy thought he was going to be getting help and guidance from the cops, but instead, they said that his daughter could probably get charged with child pornography. He's like, what? How? She's 11 years old. The cops said, doesn't matter. She's creating child porn, and they just left. So think about this. With AI, it's becoming easier to create deep fakes. From one simple social media picture, the kids' images can be used to create child pornography and abuse materials. So now is the time for all of us to rethink what we post about our kids online, especially any pictures. And know what your kids do online. And you need to be the parent because no one else will. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget, get my newsletter. You can sign up at getkim.com.